You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey folks, welcome to the Beansanddice podcast, Thursday night live call-in show. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Wayne.
And we are a podcast about
How we game.
And Thursday nights is all about how you game, but we get the conversation started. And this week's topic is going to be catching you up on our Dice Tower East 2026 convention.
Woohoo!
Welcome back, boys.
Yeah.
We're back home. I'm assuming, like me, back to work.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
I'm not the only sucker back to work, too.
No. Back to work.
I mean, I was off Monday.
Well,
I was off Monday.
I was also off
tomorrow,
Monday.
so-
Ditto.
yeah, I went right back to work on Monday. So they wouldn't let me take off Monday. My company has a stupid rule about what they call a wraparound on the holidays. So if you take off days before a holiday, you can't take off days immediately after the holiday. So I couldn't. I had originally scheduled to take Monday off to recover, which it actually took me till, I think it was Wednesday before I actually started feeling right again. But I wanted to take the Monday off, but then I had to give it back. So anyway.
When you said your company has a stupid rule, I just thought that was going to be hyperbole. But I have to agree, that is a stupid rule.
Well,
We actually
Why?
got Monday off because Friday, we only do 4-day work weeks in the summer.
Mhm.
So we were off on Friday. And since that was a holiday, they gave us the next business day off automatically. So
I'm still
Rob,
here.
Look at it. Looks like your camera.
Rob
Yeah.
is just a camera here.
Yeah, I'm still messing with my camera. Anyway,
Mitchell's
I'll get back
like-
on here.
Not 8:59. Let's go. He's got his 10 minutes to talk about 110.
All right, give me 1 second here. We'll get going.
And Bluefish Fly saying it was great to meet you guys at Dice Tower Eats. I got to talk with Carlos and Wayne, but could only admire Rob from afar.
Oh, nice.
Rob likes to bite people. You want to stay away from him anyway.
Yeah, I heard people.
I had to step out. The kids were playing a Frozen theme song back there. And I'm like, oh, that'll give me a copyright strike if that gets heard on YouTube.
Sounds like you got
The
a lot of
mouse will come
activity-
after us.
a lot of
Like,
activity going on over there.
yes, we have a lot of family in town. It is the 4th of July. We are enjoying 4th of July even after the 4th of July, even though Rob's company doesn't allow him to do so.
Nope.
I will open up the phone lines now. 813-618-7099 is the number. Looking for your phone calls to talk about your Dice Tower East experience. I know there are people already in the chat wanting to chime in, want to get in there. We will take your content. You create content for us. What we're going to do is we will highlight 3 games that we played at Dice Tower East. So each of us have got 3 games that we want to highlight and talk about, and then we'll get into like all the other stuff we did. So we'll start with each of us highlighting 3 games, and then we just keep talking about Dice Tower East until the phone lines let us.
So games first, then experiences.
All right. Yeah. That's. I don't know if I even planned any of that, but I wrote down games. I do have some like haul. I have some stuff that I bought that I want to talk about
Yeah,
too.
game hall, and then I have like the game. We went to top 10. There's the flea market, the crocodile tournament, and not crocodile, pitch car tournament.
Pitch car, yeah.
Game wise, for me, the one thing that I want to highlight is going to be my game of the con. Period. Like I'm starting off, unlike the Dice Tower,
Not gonna
I'm
build
not
up
going to
to
count down to the best thing that I did.
All
I'm
right.
starting with the best thing I did, which was a game of Root. Our friend Patrick from Advanced 3 Spaces, friend of the show, been in the studio, played games with him here. We were just chatting along, and we were kind of cross referencing the games that we wrote down that we wanted to play at the con because we had committed to playing a game together, and we both had Root written down as a game we wanted to get played at this con.
Where did that come from for you? I mean, what? I'd never heard you talk about Root before.
I don't know. It was like just
Carlos
as my
ADD.
mom would say, I had a hair on my butt that I wanted to pluck. Like it was just something I wanted to get to.
Okay.
I wrote it down on my phone as I was sitting there thinking, what games do I want to play this year at Dice Tower? And Root was on that list. Like I want to learn it because I really want to know why the hype.
Okay.
What is it, the hype with this game? And Patrick wanted to get it played. Patrick owns it. Patrick and his son enjoy playing it. So for him, it's not a new thing. It's not it is a solid game he loves that he wanted to get played at the con. So Patrick got to teach myself, a friend of his named Michael, and a friend of his named Bill. So myself, Michael, and Bill, the three of us. Let me say that again. Bill and I had never played before. Michael had played once before, and when asked if Michael wanted to play, Michael gave us the hem haw. I played it once. I think I'm good. But because it was his group of friends, he kind of got convinced to play again, and he joined in with us. I got to say, Patrick was a stud of a host. Like, we're talking about root, high level, complexity, asymmetry. You got to know what everyone else is able to do to teach the game to everyone else. I only had to focus on learning how to do my faction, which was the Eerie, the birds. I just had to learn the birds. I didn't care what anybody else did. Patrick had to know what everyone did and teach that, and he did great. He was a stud. We thought we were going to do a learning game. We figured we'll just do a learning game. We'll get halfway through and end it. We finished all the way to the end. We played all the way to the full 30 points, and I saw it. And I'll give you the arc of the game for me. The arc of the game was, what are we doing here? Why did I commit to this? This is really complex. I don't know what I'm doing. But man, it's so cute. Look at all these pieces. Okay, let's keep going. Follow the setup. Get some turns in. Get some rounds in. And I'm starting to ask a lot of questions and understand my faction a little more. As we get towards mid-game, now I feel like I kind of understand my faction. And the other guys are starting to ask questions about their faction. Well, I had to copy the root rule book in my Kindle Color. So I had been reading already for over a week in advance. I had already been reading the rules. So now I'm helping Patrick answer their questions on Patrick's turn. While he's taking his turn, I'm answering their questions on how their faction works. So mid-game towards last 3 quarters, I'm starting to help others learn their factions. And then the last quarter of the game, when it got really competitive between me and Bill, I played the birds, he played the vagabond, and it got very competitive towards the last quarter of the game. And at that point is when it all kind of, like the webs, I could see the webs interwebbing. There's a scene in the Star Wars book, episode 3, where Mace Windu finally sees the Emperor connecting with Anakin, like all the webs connecting. That's how it felt for me. It was like a moment of clarity of I see how this all works, but then Mace Windu gets thrown out the window and dies, right? So for 2 seconds, he figured it out. But that's how it was for me. At the end of the game, it all came together. I see all these interconnections. What I want to say about...
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead.
I did lose. Bill won. I lost. I got thrown out the window by Emperor Palpatine. However, what I walked away with was the bones of the game are simple. Yeah. Like the movement mechanism, the combat mechanisms, the crafting of cards. All the bones there are simple. It's each faction and how they work that adds that delight of complexity. And it all kind of connected, the story and the fluff came through. The birds trying to come back and take over, right? Using the woodland creatures to be your allies in the form of cards. They represent the different woodland creatures that are out on the board that are your allies. And it felt like world order, hegemony,
yep.
In the idea, they took real world theocratic, governments styles and turned them into these little woodland creatures, where I had these decrees that my leaders would make, dictates, and if they weren't followed, that leader would get overthrown and a new leader would replace them. Right? Then you had the mouse faction, the green faction, and they were more of they were there just inciting rebellion amongst the small folks, against the people, to revolt against us, the birds, the cats, and the vagabonds. So it just had all these interwebbing connections. I ended up ordering a copy on Board Game Geek from a guy who's selling it out of North Carolina for cheap, new in wrap. And then I bought a copy on my Switch. I've gone through the full tutorial to learn all the factions. I'm currently playing on Switch again.
So you bought just the base game?
Just the base game right now on the Switch.
No, I mean in physical.
Oh, in physical form, yeah. I really feel that the 4 factions in the base game are a lot.
Yeah,
I know Patrick was trying to sell me at all the expansion stuff, but I'm like, that might be a little too far right now.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that I foresee is I don't know if I'll ever get my copy played, period, because of the difficulty of the teach and then finding like-minded gamers. I do believe Brian Zeno, who we saw at Dice Tower, if I remember correctly, about half a year ago, he mentioned to me that he got into Root. So I might have some gamers in Spring Hill, and they love playing their complex games.
Yeah.
I might have some gamers in Spring Hill that would be down for the complexity.
I mean, I'll play Root. I've played it. I own the digital. I never got a physical copy because I own a digital, and I was playing it on Steam. So it's a good game. I enjoy it. It's definitely like one of those games though that can be a lifestyle game where people.
That's what I was going to say. Borders on lifestyle game. I think you got to find people who play it enough to know how each of the factions work, what everybody can do, what everybody's possibilities are, how you stop each faction. So it's a game you really got to dive into, I think, and play a lot.
Either that or you have like the three of us play it once a year and it's casual, so it's okay that we don't really know it that well. Because if you have like one person that knows the game really well and a bunch of new people, the new people are going to get stomped usually. Yeah.
Right.
But that's like any kind of coin game. It's almost like a GMT game, right?
Right.
Kind of with a pretty theme on it, right?
Exactly.
If you know the rules, if you know the faction, you're gonna do better than the other players. So either you have to play with you just have to play with game experience. If you haven't played a lot, that's a good group. If you played a lot, that's a good mix and match is not the best. So
I played it in real life only. I've played it twice. The first time I played was the mouse faction, and I'd say a good chunk of that game.
Oh, you were the mouse faction?
Yeah, and I didn't know
I can see why you struggle bust.
Yeah, it was my first play. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing half the game. The second time I played the Vagabond, and that was much easier. I thought that was much more straightforward. But
you only got one piece, and you're running around helping people until you decide who you think is going to be the winner, and then you kingmake. You kingmake for the win.
Yep, exactly. So I don't remember. It's been a while since I played. It's been years, so I don't remember how I did in either of the games. Like I said, I just remember that first game being lost for a good chunk of the game and felt a little frustrated. I was a little earlier in my gaming career, so it was a lot to take on. And then, like I said, the second time I played the Vagabond a couple years later. I liked it more because it was simpler, it was more straightforward. I knew a little better what I was getting into and what I was doing. Didn't love it for sure either time. I mean, I'd play it once or twice a year maybe. But it's okay.
Listen, if people can get you to play Nemesis 4 times, I'm sure I can get you to play Root one more time.
Well, we got to look into see if you can crossplay because you own it on the Switch,
and Patrick owns it on the iPad.
And
so if we can find a way to crossplay, that would be a great match.
Yeah. I could pick up a copy somewhere if y'all decide to do that. Sure.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Root. That was my game of the con.
Nice.
Got one queued up there, Wayne?
Yeah, I can bring.
Go ahead.
So this was a game that it's been out for a while, actually, 2022. So Taledum is my first game I'll talk about. This was a game that Rob and several of the gamers in our group said, like, Wayne, this is a game you'll like.
Great game.
You'll play it, you'll love it. And I did. Played it and loved it. So in Taledum, you are it's Renaissance, and you're traveling throughout Europe. Daniel Sassini, Simone Luciani, and we got the board here. You are basically playing out landmarks, building cathedrals, leaving behind artists. You're kind of like spreading the Renaissance around Europe. It's not Game of the Con, but so of course Wayne's Game of the Con is Taledum since he smashed us in it. No, yes, I did smash you in it, but no, I don't know if this is my Game of the Con, but it is definitely a game that I have been looking to play for a year or two now, and just never got a chance to play it. And Rob, you hit it nail on the head. This is a game that I love. It's your classic Euro. And there's multiple ways of winning. You can either, build the monasteries, build the churches, whatever, then, lay out your guys. And it's kind of like a scoring matrix. Let me go back here a bit. You can kind of fill in the columns that we're showing on the screen for those of you. Great audio for the podcast, but you can kind of put nobles in there and like family crests and fill those in, and that adds to your victory points. You can complete orders delivering goods throughout Europe and use those to complete victory points. So it's your standard kind of old school classic worker placement Euro where point salad. I think the final score was like 2 something to 100 something, right? So just a really, really solid game. Kind of mad because not mad. There was a copy for sale at one of the vendors, and I guess on the last day they like marked everything down to 50% off.
Oh.
And so I could have ran in and grabbed a copy of it. And Janella, love her to death. She messaged me. She's like, "Hey, I heard you play Toledo and you like it. There's a copy of 50% off, but it was already gone before I got there."
No.
So now I'll be on the lookout for it because this is a game that I think I would definitely add to my collection.
Oh, I would have grabbed it if I'd have seen it for 50% off. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like 30 something bucks. I was like, oh,
Wow.
done. So, but I definitely have it on my, and what's cool is it's, your standard dry Euro-y, but it's got some good, not crazy art, but nice art, good production design. What I really liked about it is very easy to follow, right? Like there's other games we played during the con where the order of events were harder to follow.
We'll get there.
Just the iconography, not that great, but this was pretty easy to follow, pretty easy to pick up. And you guys know me, when first time I play a game, I kind of zone in on a strategy and just really, run into it. Whereas Rob kind of tries to do a little bit of everything. Although Rob's played this a few times, so
yeah.
So Toledo was a great game. It is your standard classic Euro that we love to mess with. So yeah.
Dice drafting, awesome part of this game, and it's dice drafting on a rondelle.
Oh, yeah, thank you. That's good. Yep.
You go ahead if you want to jump back into it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You're better at that than me.
So we screwed up at the start. I admit we played about a third of the game where
the first round, the first game,
that myself and Mitchell had played it before. I'd actually played it 3 or 4 times, and so I can't believe I missed it. But there's that little rondelle there. You can kind of see those watching in the corner there. So you roll all these dice. It's the number of players times 3 plus I think 2 more dice or something like that. So you're not going to use them all up. You get 3 dice picks before you reshuffle and move on to the next round. But you lay them out, you're going to see there's that dial in the middle there, and it tells you where to place each of the numbers. So you could roll all 6s, you could roll all 1s. You won't when you're rolling a big handful of dice or 2 or 3 handfuls of dice. But anyway, you put them out, and the numbers on each of the dice coordinate with the color of the die to tell you which of the, I think it's 5 different resources in the game, the number of those resources you get. So if I take the pink one, the pink, I believe, was food. Or was yellow? Whatever it was, that resource
food,
is.
Food, cloth, stone, gold, and something else.
Yeah, if I take that pink one, I take 1 food resource from the bin, but then I get to do the action that is lined up with that 6 times. And so there's an inverse relationship with the number of resources you get with the number of times you take that action. And so there's 6 different actions that go around the wheel. The wheel rotates clockwise every turn. So those number coordinations change each time you click that wheel. There is a thing you can do to change your number up or down 1 if you really need, like the food, but you want to do the action that's adjacent. You don't want to do the action that it's lined up with. But again, this inverse relationship between, if I take a 3 gray die, then I get 3 stones that are going to eventually help me to build something or to complete a contract. But then I get to do that power that it's lined up with 4 times. And so it's again that inverse. You do one, the big number, one, the opposite number, you do the actions versus how many of those you get. And it's that part of it that I really find unique in this game, that I really find cool. And again, you don't have to do a whole lot of dice manipulation, because it's a lot of times in these dice manipulation mitigation games, you're like, well, how about if I just roll bad? If I just roll bad the whole game, then I get screwed because somebody else who rolled what they wanted.
This time,
but the shared pool of dice, everything's out there. So I draft a die, you draft a die, the next guy drafts, it comes around in circles. So it's all out there. Everybody's got the same pretty much ability to do it. You can actually change your turn order. That's one of the tracks that you could move on.
The turn order is interesting too, because it's like that one little like knot thing on the bottom right of the board, bottom left of the board, excuse me. It's like negative points to positive points, and it's kind of like your influence with the church kind of thing. I think
when the King's Court,
Court, there we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is the further you are behind on that, you go to first the next round. So like if one round you didn't do so well on that and your dice placement wasn't good, you didn't get the best choices, you're going to be going first that next time. So it kind of helps out with that. Yep.
All right. And this is a midway to kind of to BJ's thing there. He wants to try to get to the table again soon with the expansion. I played the expansion twice now. I think the expansions kind of take it or leave it. It's not definitely an expansion I would play with all the time. It adds another whole board. It adds another whole set of resources in the game. So it adds another level to the wheel. If this isn't this is really I would say solidly a mid-weight Euro. If you need to play it as a step up, if you need to go to a heavier Euro, then you play the expansion. But it's another whole board. It's another whole piece. There's a mining board where you have a little mining cart that you're moving around and you're claiming stuff in the mine to get you more resources to do stuff on the main board. So it adds just another level of complexity that is take it or leave it for me. If somebody wants to play the expansion, fine. But I think this game is really good without the expansion, and I probably prefer it without the expansion. So
yeah, it sounds like I probably would prefer it without the expansion. I think it hit a perfect weight as the base game. Adding expansion might add a little bit more to it and fiddliness.
Yeah. I think, Carlos, you'd like this too. It's definitely not this big, super heavy Euro. It's a good
dice selection Euros are ones that I enjoy.
Yeah, this is a good one. So I definitely
and I like that idea of using the flip of the inverse, opposite side of the die.
Yeah,
I love that balance of the 1-6, 2-5, and then the 4-3.
Yep. So it gives you tough choices on, do I want to get a bunch of resources and only do the action one time, or do I want to do the action a whole bunch and get just one of the resource, or somewhere in the middle? Do I take the 3 and get a little bit of both, and 3 of one, 4 of the other? It's really cool decisions in that game, I think. Yeah. Cool. My turn. Luthier, a game I had on my list of, I mentioned before the show and before Dice Tower, I had written down 15 games that I really wanted to play.
Before we jump, a couple of comments. Let's catch up. BJ in the chat says, Mitchell, we had a great time at DTCE. I believe that must be an inside joke. Dice Tower Con East.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'll that one inside joke, I think. Yeah. And then Ron Talks Tabletop says, looks like you guys enjoyed yourself. Yes, we did. We missed you, Ron. It's a con that I've seen Ron out a few times.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Yep.
Luthier.
We missed you, Ron. Luthier, yes. Well, again, so I had written down a list of 15 games that I wanted to play. I think 6 or 7 were games that I had played before, including Thunder Alley, which we got played as well. Won't highlight on my top 3 here just because it's an old classic. Everybody loves Thunder Alley. But anyway, this was one of the new games that I really, really wanted to play. As soon as I mentioned, I think it was Mitchell asked me which games I really was looking to play, which I wanted to learn. As soon as Luthier came out of mouth, he was like, Luthier, great game. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. So we didn't get it played till almost the very end of the con. So this is one that we kept trying to get. It was checked out of the library constantly. They had one copy. And for 2.5 days, Mitchell and I were watching it on everything's digital now. So you could actually watch digitally and see when games got checked out, when games got checked back in. There was a wait list you could go on. I think he went on the wait list at one point. It was 6th on the wait list. It was checked out the whole rest of the day, never got checked back in. So whatever.
And like one guy had it out for like 6 hours. Though,
yeah,
right?
I was gonna say it was gone forever. So, but this game, a hotness game right now.
6 hours though. That's got to be just one play.
No, I think they probably checked it out. Was sitting on it for a while, probably.
Yeah, we played it just 2-player. He taught me just heads up, just the 2 of us. He's played it a few times before. He's played it on a BGA. I didn't realize it was on there. He started a game as soon as we got back home. Me, him, and Doug are playing now. But this is my theme zone. So again, I'm not a big theme guy. That's the big thing, big joke here. Rob doesn't like theme. I like theme, but it's secondary to me for sure. But this is one of those games when as soon as it got announced, I'm a violin player from, I was started in middle school. Back in the day, we started playing violin in middle school. But I played for 11 years. I went all the way up to college and then stopped playing at college. But anyway, so this is all about making instruments, doing performances. You can, on the side, you can make money by repairing instruments. And then you have these nobles and these composers that you are trying to complete different things for. Some of them want instruments made. Some of them want you to do particular performances. It's really a Euro. There's, this one was a little divisive in our group. I know I'm jumping around a little bit here, but some things that hit me with this, I really, really wanted to play Luthier when it was announced and when it came out, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now, I think it's been out. And I didn't play it because there was a few key people in our game group here in Tampa who bought it and played it once and did not like it much and got rid of it. And so it wasn't one that was sitting on people's shelves. And so I really didn't have a chance to jump back to it, or people who had played it in our group for some reason played it once, didn't love it. It was never at the game days. It was never hitting the table or anything. But this is one in the back of my head I wanted to play for a while now. And so Appreciate Mitchell, as always, giving me the teach on it. He did a great teach on this one. Sometimes Mitchell teaches a little quick, and I'm slow on the uptake. I've said that a lot. It takes me kind of going through it slowly, seeing how things happen before I pick up on it. And so, but this one, he did a real great job. For some reason, there was a lot of iconography that made sense to me, and so it just kind of clicked. But the thing about this, and the reason I went through all this, is that the thing that people in our game groups seem to not really like is there is a hidden bidding aspect to it. And so those of you that you can see there's these poker-sized chips. They're wooden in the game, so they're not big, heavy poker chips, but they're kind of lightweight wooden chips, but they have bidding values on them. So I think you start with a 1, a 3, and a 5. As you go through rounds of the game, depending on the number of players, you pick up the 2 and the 4, and the game gets a little longer in the later rounds as you're bidding. But you've got, I think it's 6 sections of the board and then 2 sections on your own player board that you're putting these I guess bidding chips down. And so what the chips do is they dictate the power that you do that action at. And then they also dictate, if more than one person goes to a certain area, they dictate who gets to pick first, who picks second. So the higher number gets to pick sooner in the order. As far as you see these different areas, most of them have splays of cards. And so if you go with a higher number, you usually do a little bit better. You get a little bonus to your action, and you get to pick first ahead of people who went with a lower number. You've got 2 spots on your personal board that nobody's bidding against you for. But again, if you play higher numbers there, again, you get little bonuses in what you're doing there. So BJ Chapman in there loves some luthier. But it's this one hit for me. This hit for me on theme. This hit for me on the right weight of a euro. I really didn't mind, even though we only played 2. I need to play it at 3 and 4 because I suspect that bidding mechanic will probably be more prominent in a 3 or 4 player game where you're having to bid against multiple people. When it was just me and Mitchell, we were just kind of bidding against each other. So for the most part, we did what we wanted. Every now and then he'd beat me to a spot or get a higher number in a spot. But there were some cool, juicy decisions about, well, if I go a certain power here, I get a bonus, but that means I got to put a lower chip over in the other area where I need to go and acquire a new instrument or do a performance. And a Mitchell might beat me there. And if he goes with a higher number, then he might grab the one that I need. And so there was just a fun trade-off. There's a couple little tracks, without getting too much detail, a couple little tracks you move up for some extra bonuses. There's a little market you can go to buy the materials to make your instruments and to do the repairs. The middle of the board is this whole orchestra. There's all different types of instruments, and there's a little bit of area control there. You're trying to fill up some areas for some in-game scoring. You have first chairs. The first player to go to a certain instrument gets to put their marker there that they're first chair. The next person, if they want to kick them out of first chair, has to put 2 markers there. So they have to put 1. Every time you place, you get something on the board, but then they have to place there again if they have an objective or something that requires them to be first chair for the violin or for the French horn or something. So artwork was right on point for me. There's individual player power, so it's asymmetric. A lot about this game I liked. So it's that era, that whole music making, Baroque period, classical romantic period of music that I just really, really liked. And so I like this one a lot. After one play, was high on my list. I'm going to play it a bunch on BGA. Eventually, this may be one that I'll look to pick up. So Luthier, I liked it a lot.
Very nice. Very nice. Let's see, any additional comments? I think we hit them. Looks like you got some folks in the chat who also liked Luthier. I can't.
Yeah, Luthier.
Luthier.
It's definitely one that I want to. I was looking to try it as well. I didn't get it played, but now that it's on BGA, maybe I'll have to play a couple videos.
We can start a game. I can do it. Teach on BGA sometime if you want. It's not super complicated.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that the game looks so gorgeous. I didn't back it because it looked like it was like so expensive for was it worth the price of the Kickstarter? I think that's probably where some people in our group played it and got rid of it because it was like, well, they didn't think that the value was there, but it sounds like it maybe is for some people.
I liked it. Yeah. Carlos,
I brought a copy with me of Thunder Road Vendetta Carnival of Chaos expansion, specifically because the Dice Tower library did not have this expansion. So, because this is the version of Thunder Road Vendetta that I prefer to play, and I was really looking forward to getting this one played. I got to play it on the first night there, which I believe was Wednesday night.
Were you there? You were there Wednesday night. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think David Carlton and myself and Ramey and his son, 4 of us. So we got to play a full player count, got to teach it to them 3. David Carlton has played Thunder Road Vendetta Vanilla before, and he's a huge Gaslands fan.
Yes.
So, Rob, if you remember Gaslands, the
Oh, yeah.
miniatures war game using Hot Wheels where you make your own, Mad Max style vehicles. So the theme was right up their alley. The difference with this is instead of running down a track or a road in Thunder Road Vendetta trying to get to the end of the race, it becomes an arena combat game. You have 3 roads that lead into the arena, and then you battle royale in the middle of the arena, scoring points for doing damage and eliminating vehicles on your turn. The player who has the most points at the end of the game wins as long as they still have a vehicle on the board. If you're eliminated, you can't win. David learned that lesson the hard way. So it was great. And watching Dave like get salty when this father-son duo began to destroy him, because Dave had this idea that he was going to distribute damage between everyone. Kind of like, just be fair, right? I'm going to be fair. I'm not going to pick on anyone. I'm just going to like kill 1 car for each person. Well, all he ended up doing was ticking off everybody. So everybody went after him, even though he got the most points because he was killing all of us and like actually destroying stuff. He lost the game because he got eliminated at the end. What's cool about this play, what I really enjoyed about this play, is playing with other gamers allowed me to see more depth that this game has, this version of the game. So like Dave pulled off these maneuvers where he was getting these party favors, these balloon tokens that you see there. And the balloon tokens give you these extra abilities that you can pop one time, like break the rules abilities. And you can use as many as you want on a turn. So because he was running around doing cool stuff, he was collecting them and then he was using them. So he was like, all right, I'm going to pop this party favor. This party favor allows me, I'm going to slam you. I'm going to pop this party favor, and it allows me to set the FX dice, the FX Foxtrot X-Ray, FX dice, to tell it where you're going to move to. So I'm going to put you on this space. Then I'm going to pop this party favor token, which then allows me to activate the killer pillar. The killer pillar turns on and destroys your car instantly. I get 5 victory points for killing your car. So like he was just doing these combos using these tokens and his super weapons, and it was fun to watch. Like, you think of it as just a crazy luck-based game. No, he was planning out his turns ahead of time to do these cool tactical actions. So I had a great time playing it. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I've talked about Thunder Road Vendetta many times. It was on my top 20 board for the end of the year last year, and it will likely continue to be on there. Thunder Road Vendetta. I think the coolest part after that was I got to meet a couple of guys to play a game of Deliverance later. But one of the guys the 2 guys that we were playing with, they were a part of Adrena Creative, which is a 3D printing company that prints like 3D terrain for all this Thunder Road Vendetta and other games, many, many other games that they printed for. So I was able to meet those guys, and then I ended up going to their booth and actually buying some of this cool 3D terrain. Let me pull it up here so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me hit the remove button on the camera. And you can see here, Rob, I picked up some 3D terrain that takes all the impassable spaces and makes them into like giant boulders. They had a setup in there in the Adrena room. This was the room in the hall with the loud games.
Yeah.
So I feel like I missed that whole room. I saw a picture.
Each day they highlighted a different game and themed out the whole room for said game. Wayne, I walked in on Thunder Road Vendetta Day, and the entire room had bullet casings thrown everywhere, right? It was 4 full tables of 3D terrain printed Thunder Road Vendetta boards. The host, her and her husband, who do this creative company, were dressed up like straight out of Mad Max. He had the mask on from Fury Road. She had the whole Furiosa black paint on her forehead, fully decked out in like costume of Furiosa. And they were hosting 4 games in there with all their 3D terrain all over every board. So he had they did an awesome time. I think Mitch mentions it too. They also had costumes. Did you see the guys dressed as the pigs? I did not see that guy dressed as a pig.
No.
Yeah, I've been seeing more and more pictures on like Facebook of people posting from the con. I'm like, man, I missed that whole room.
They had a whole day of Terrorscape. They had a day of Wandering Towers, and they were officially licensed.
Nice.
Amazing stuff. Check them out on Adrena, Adrena Creative. I told them to give me a ring, shoot me an email. I'd love to have them on to find out like how they come up with these ideas. Because it not only was it like 3D printed stuff to upgrade the game, but it was like modules that he created, certain battles, certain terrain that does new crazy stuff. Which apparently Kyle Jeeves from Chi-Town was familiar with, because I sent a picture and the first thing he said was, how is that and he named it. He named the module that was on the board, the Chaos Cavern, like he knew it. So it's something that people are familiar with. So I had a great time. Thunder Road Vendetta, one of my highlights of the con.
I assume you saw that they had the new version of the Thunder Road Vendetta there, right?
They did, and I looked at it, and I had Patrick played it.
Okay.
Patrick from Advanced 3 Spaces, and he told me it was very watered down
It's a
version
smaller
of Thunder Road.
Yeah, lighter version, yeah.
So I did not play it, but I already pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it because I wanted the curves, because it comes to like curves now instead of just straight lines. And then the pre-order provides a special promo terrain. So like I wanted this special terrain tile that they have for the promo. But it dumbs down the rules and it gives you much simpler command boards for the players. So like this can be family level, like kids level, light, all the way through as complex as you want to make it, with all the Maximum Chrome expansions that I bought.
I took a peek while some people were playing it, but I didn't look too close. So
Nice.
cool.
That was Thunder Road Vendetta Chaos Carnival. Hi, Caleb.
Back to Wayne.
That was back to me. All right. We're going to go with Orloy.
Oh, yeah.
Carlos is going to bring it up. All right, cool.
Oh,
So
R-
Orloy, the Prague Astronomical Clock. This is a DeVere game?
I believe so. That sounds right. Yeah. We'll find out in a second here.
Full credits.
Yes, Mitch is right. Western Legends. Let me jump in here. Western Legends. They had they're the ones that make that full terrain setup with the train and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Rob?
Yep.
You've seen that before?
I've seen it.
That's them. That's the folks that make it. Painted their terrain. Here we go. Pablo out of Cali. Painted their terrain and uploaded it to Maximum Chrome's BGG pictures. Cool. So see, I'm not the only one. Like, man, I'm just learning about them, but I've seen their stuff before. They have like the sandworm that comes out of Thunder Road Vendetta.
Oh,
They put like a sandworm in there.
Oh, really?
I think that's all of it for. Yep, that was it. Orloy, let's go.
So Orloy, the Prague Astronomical Clock. Excuse me. So this is a bunch of different publishers, but I think here in the States it's released by DeVere. And Carlos, DeVere is just the best at packing a ridiculous amount of game into a tiny box. So like when I thought this was going to be like a luthier sized box, having seen photos of it, right? And then no, like Mitchell busted out, and it's like smaller than a Ticket to Ride size box, but it had the board and just everything is massive, and it's got this little 3D thing you build for the clock. So the basic mechanism of the game is you have set collection, there's a rondelle, there's tech trees, worker placement, and sort of action retrieval. And so basically you are looking to build and repair the clock. So you're moving up resource tracks to then kind of put the stained glass into the clock, and then you're fixing the clock. And there's an action selection where you can move the rondelle. You're basically clicking the clock and going around the clock in the time. And as it rotates, you can kind of rotate it backwards, but you're kind of breaking the clock. So you have to, break cogs and wheels. You can fix those. If you don't fix those, you get negative points. But it's crazy when you look at the board, and I think a lot of people have talked about that it looks really busy, and it does. When you look at the board in general, it is a busy board. It is extremely colorful and bright, but the iconography is big, right? So that's what like it's. I'm not the best vision in the world, right? I got the glasses on and things like that, but from halfway across the board, I could see the icons and like the actions of what to do. Now, the first couple of turns, I got confused with like the workers to put the stained glass in versus the get the assistance, which is in the upper left versus the middle. And that's part of it is like I just didn't quite understand when Mitchell was teaching it, right? That was kind of on me on what the iconography did. But after I got it out of my head that I was reading the icon wrong, I figured it out, right? And so this game, you can score a lot of points in different ways. There's end game scoring where you're going up the tech tracks and tech trees on the upper right. There's filling in your personal board. Then there's, getting assistance that'll help you do things, and that give you end game scoring. So it's kind of like a bunch of different mini games, I guess you could say. Each of them has a kind of a different thing. There's the rondelle, and then there's the resources building, and then there's your assistance, and then there's the saints and building your filling in that your own personal board where you bring in like the stained glass of the saints and the clock. But really, really well developed game. I didn't think that there was anything that really fell flat as far as all the games that I think in our game, we all did kind of different things. I was getting killed most of the game. I was like in last place, but I just said, okay, I'm just going to build anything on the board or do anything that gives me end game scoring. Rob was working on the clock, and as you're filling in the different dials on the clock, and like if you can score based on area control. So if you have multiple guys in the same area, you'll score points on that. And so I think I might be missing a few things here and there, but just in general, it's a pretty complex game, but it's the iconography and the flow kind of works well, and you can kind of concentrate on different things as you go, which is kind of cool. And the mechanism to do the rounds is kind of interesting, because as you're pulling the stained glass off, you're clicking another wheel, and there's like a little rooster, and when the rooster goes down, it goes like 5-3, 5-3. So it's a kind of variable length rounds, but depending on how much you turn that, it'll go down faster. So you can kind of speed up or slow down the game based on how you're pulling those off. Yeah, Rob, I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah, definitely just a few opinions. I think you did a pretty good job explaining the game. Yep. So definitely a lot going on. This is one of those games, again, that Mitchell did a good job teaching it. It was a quick teach. He tends to teach fast and play fast. So I missed a good chunk of the teach. And so it took me a couple of rounds into this game, and I asked the same question, I'm sure, over and over again. You guys get sick of me asking, hold on, what does this thing do again? Because I just missed chunks of it. But anyway, I scored the points during the game. There is, like you say, some in-game scoring. There's 3 objectives that are variable each time. And as I tend to do in my first play or two of these kinds of games, I did a little bit of everything. And so I massively lost out on the race of those in-game scorings. I think out of the 3, I had one guy placed up in that area, and he was on the very lowest level, the lowest multiplier. And so you guys, I was leading most of the game just on points that I got on the board that I could see, hey, I can go there and get some points. But in the in-game scoring, you guys flew past me on the in-game, and I got crushed, I think, if I remember, in this one, which doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. I didn't completely love it. There was a lot going on. I need to play this again once or twice more to see how things really click. During the end, towards the end of the game, I started getting it as like, oh, okay, I should have done that, which would have done this and would have set me up for that over there, and I could have raced to that objective a little better. So again, I tend to be on these heavier games. I really like my heavier games, but I do tend to be slow on just kind of picking up how things work together, how things get you points until my second or third play. And so this is definitely one there. Point salad is the other thing that jumps straight to mind for me. Like you said, there are lots of ways to get points in this. You can take lots of different avenues. You probably need to go fairly hard in one or two of the different avenues, which again, I didn't do. I typically don't do. I spread it around my first couple of plays, but now that I can kind of see, okay, depending on how those objectives come out, I probably need to pick one of those objectives, make that one of the main focuses of my play, and rack up points. The other real big thing, though, I do want to say, just before I forget here, is that the setup on this is a bit of a monster. Mitchell mentioned it about 10 minutes into setup. He's like, hey, I'm about a third of the way through the setup here. And, it's going to be another 15 minutes before we're playing. And we tried to jump in and help since we'd never played before. There wasn't much we could do. But there is a lot of variability in kind of the setup and some of the things. And so there is, which is good for replays. It's got good legs for replayability. but it does take a while between setting up your player board. The couple of the rings on the main board are little pieces that you randomly put out, and so you got to shuffle them up and kind of build it. There are a couple of fidgety areas of the board that if you bump something, it'll kind of mess things up. There's these little, there's not double layered here on this little track for the moon track, and so if you bump the table too hard, that can slide off. So
I think the benefit there is the price point and what you get for the game. You could easily be this could easily be a $150 game with double layer boards and that pavers, that kind of that thing. But I think the other thing I'd point out too is I really liked how as the game went on, you kind of ramped up, and like those last few turns, I got some crazy combos where it was like, okay, I finished this apostle thing, which gives me this bonus, which does this, which does that, and you can kind of really do some good comboing there. And this was a fun game. I liked the colorfulness of it. I really liked the fact that it's a massive game.
Yeah.
It talks about, like when we talk about Luthier, right? That Luthier box is enormous and like distilled, or like the Castles of Burgundy special edition. This game kind of felt like it was like those games, but the box size was like so.
But that's
small.
DeVere, man.
That
is
DeVere.
DeVere.
Yeah.
It took everything I had not to buy the dwarf game.
Covenant.
Covenant. Like DeVere they put so much in their games.
Yep. For sure.
You're not the only ones. Mitch says Orloy for the win.
Yeah, I might not play it at 4. I think Mitchell made a comment that it's a bit of a slog. But it was a 3 of us first time playing. I think if you had multiple plays of it, it'd be fine at 4. But like most of these games, I think the sweet spot is 3 players.
Jared said Orloy is fun and beautiful. BJ comes in and says, I like my one play of Orloy, especially when Doc runs that line so that Marty can get back to the 1985. Is that a fix the clock joke? Is that what that is?
It must be, the big clock. And this is a real thing for those who may not know. Orloy is an actual astronomical clock. It's in Prague. It was built by the church. It was super expensive, and it was famous for it's extremely accurate because it measures off the stars and the moon and all kinds of stuff. But it breaks all the time.
Heresy detected. Detected.
They have spent millions or billions of dollars fixing this clock. So
we were playing it a little bit later at night, and certainly, there was a lot of.
Mitch is saying, is it after dark yet? This game spawned some interesting late night language. Rooster was the quote there. I'm assuming it's something that rhymes with clock. Let's see. BJ from Board Game Gumbo talks about apostles seem pretty powerful when played, and that, yes, BJ killed us with the apostles.
And I think I had pretty much my whole apostle board filled in. But I also was near the top of all 3 end game scoring, and then I had a whole bunch of the assistants that did end game scoring. I really killed it in this game on the end game scoring, which was kind of interesting.
This comment from BJ, I second, even myself, going into Dice Tower East. The one thing that he loves about board games is he had no idea Orloy even existed, and it was fascinating to learn about it. There were games at Dice Tower East that I had no idea existed that were being demoed or that were being shown off that I got to learn about and play. So even us who think we know everything that comes out, I guess we miss stuff.
Well, I think what he said, he didn't know that the clock
is a real thing.
Actually is a real thing in Prague. That's what my nephew did a semester in Prague last year. In his last year of college, and so I sent him this game, like, hey, I'm playing this game, I'm sure you went to the clock. And he's like, oh, well, that's cool, so it's like, it's pretty cool.
Got a lot of comments in there. Before we go to the next one, we'll run through it. Let's see here. The non-upgraded version of the game is still stunning. You don't have to get the fancy dice tower and stuff. That's Luthier, because there's that dice tower that we saw in there.
The dice tower, just to let you know, it actually has chimes in it. When you drop the dice in, it hits chimes on its way down and makes music, makes noise. So.
Overproduced.
Yeah.
Let's see. I didn't realize that looks like Thunder Road expansion changed the game that much. Awesome. This guy owns the expansion. Mitchell just saying. So sounds like BJ likes Thunder Road Vendetta and needs to get some Louisiana love over there. So make it happen, Mitch. Pablo in your mind. Love that. Carlos, are you getting the Thunder Road Ignition standalone game, but also works as an expansion? The answer is yes. Pre-ordered my copy so that I can get the special card that comes with it. Does it count as a Euro for Monday's looming? So they're talking about planning their Euro Monday game, Thunder Road Vendetta, Ameritrash Mondays. That's the right answer, says BJ. Ameritrash Mondays. Mitch says he played Thunder Road Ignition at the con, and it makes a nice, quick filler. Let's see. Wayne set up both tables. I like that. Wayne for the win on that. Yeah, 2 tables at the same time. Just bounce from game to game. Playing some Dogfight 1917. That's one game that I had no idea existed. That I learned about at the Dice Tower East.
Me too.
But he wants to mash it with some unmatched on the other side. Let's see here. Any other comments? The cool thing about Thunder Road Ignition is that there's no player elimination, only pit stops. Didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go that deep into it. That does really make it more of a family game. I think my 15-year-old son's biggest gripe with the game is the player elimination.
Yeah,
like that was he's always the one eliminated first, helping us to end our games. So that's good to know. Bluefish Fly, got to meet him, John, out of Ohio. Out of New York by way of Ohio. Is that how you say that? Right. From New York by way of Ohio. John Bluefish Fight, we had a great time together playing games with John. He says he had the sandworms that would eat the cars, so he got to check out that cool module that they created in that wonderful game. Captain Gamer, Chris in the chat from Texas saying howdy. Hey. And BJ corrects me. He meant the actual clock, not the game. So he is plugged into the game zeitgeist better than I am.
Yeah.
So that gets us to Rob's next game. Rob, you had Wondrous Creatures.
Wondrous Creatures. Wow. So this game is actually, I'm interested to see here that they've listed on BGG a weight of 3.03, which basically a 3.0. That's a little heavier than I would say I felt this game to be, and I think my kids. So this was an interesting one. Both of my kids had a chance to play with me at 2 different sessions at Dice Tower East. And this is the game coming home as I was asking them what their favorite game was, or, if there was a game from the con that they think I should pick up and that we could play at home together. And Wondrous Creatures was the one that they both voted for. And we had a good time playing. So I'm the only one who played it twice. My daughter, Emmy, played it with me first, and we played just the base game. And then my son, Arby, a couple days later, I think it was Saturday, afternoon over in the hot games area, they had a copy of it. I played I think it was somebody's personal copy when we played it on Thursday, but on Saturday I played the Dice Tower hot games version, and they had in the box, it actually wasn't set up on the table, but they had in the box the expansion for it. And one of the players, Brittany, wanted to play it with the expansion, and so they set up Brittany and Cole. No, it wasn't Cole. I'm sorry. It was Brandon that I played this with. They set up the expansion. They learned it. They read it was a fairly short rule book for the expansion, and it just added another board. It added another resource to the game. But basically, this is a worker placement game. So you got those really cool wooden workers, these kind of long, wondrous creatures. And I guess what you're doing in the game is you're building basically a zoo or a little theme park for these wondrous creatures, these kind of crazy.
Just be honest about it. Just call
Pokemon.
It Timu Pokemon.
Yeah, that was definitely Pokemon. That was the first thing I was looking at the pictures like, oh, this looks like a Pokemon. Oh, this one looks like a Pokemon. So I'm not a big time Pokemon guy, so I don't know the names of all the Pokemons, but they all seemed like they had something in the Pokemon world that probably pretty closely matched up to them. But long story short, you're placing your workers. They take up 2 spaces, as those of you can see at home watching on video can see. They take up 2 spaces on the board. You collect all of the resources that you're adjacent to, as far as the big resources, the coral, the mushrooms, the fruit, and there's one other in there, but you collect those resources the flowers as you place adjacent to them. You've got these little eggs that pop up at certain points during the game that give you eggs that you put on your board. You are trying to race for these objectives, and most of the objectives are having a certain number of a certain icon, like the fish icon or the butterfly icon or something like that. There are some just for having a certain number, like this one here, 14 cards in your tableau. So 14, it's a tableau builder. There's a little bit of, so definitely engine building. There's a little bit of comboing. You can do some things that combo and kick off another card or reactivate another card. But there's a lot of the cards, or all the cards have these little animal icons on them, different classes of animals. And you're trying to collect numbers of those, and you can also use these little eggs that you pick up as count as the same kind of resources. So you get these little lizard eggs or these little butterfly eggs, and basically you're just racing to these different objectives to claim them. As you claim objectives, you're taking a little inkwell or a little quill off of your player board, putting it on the main board to claim the objective. It triggers a little bonus when you do that. You've got 5 different types of cards, I should say. There's in-game scoring cards. There are instant cards when you play them. There are ongoing abilities that happen. And then there's cards that trigger every time you do a reset, which is when you pick your workers up off the board and do a reset. And then there are these cards. The 5th type is little, they have charges on them. And so you, at any time on your turn, you can take off a charge and trigger once per turn the ability that little charge triggers. But really not a complicated game. Again, at
all right, we got to call in. Let's
hey.
Beansanddice podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, it's Chris from Texas. How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, Chris.
Hello, Chris. We're giving our lowdown on games played at Dice Tower East. The show is yours. You're caller number 1.
Well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask. I figured you guys would talk about it, so I won't talk about that right now. But overall, was the experience amazing, incredible? How did it compare to previous years, just on a high level?
All right, so for me, I'm starting to see it coming back to what I was first introduced to. Rob was an attendee before I was. It was, I think, 2 or 3 years that he spent going without me because I would go camping with the family right down the road. I was at Fort Wilderness camping with the family. He would be at the Dice Tower Con. When he first convinced the family to join him, and we haven't stopped going ever since, it was huge. There were events, there were panels, there were shows, there were games planned ahead of time for teaches and demos. And then post-COVID, that kind of died away. I have to say this is the first year where I'm starting to make it, like it's starting to feel like it's coming back to an exhibit, not just gaming.
Agreed.
So I'm happy.
Yeah, I've been, like you say, I've been going for a long time. I think I missed the first 2. I've been to every one since. I had about 4 different people ask me at the con, how many does that make for me? I'd have to go count my badges. I've been probably 8 to 10 times. I think there's been about 12 of them. So I've been to most of them. When I started, it was 200 people. Now it's up to somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000. I haven't heard an official count this year, but I agree with Carlos entirely. Pre-COVID, it was a different con. It did change around that time to the Dice Tower folks running it instead of an outside group running it. There was a split. And so now when they first did it, it was much smaller on purpose because the Dice Tower folks were kind of learning how to run their own con. But now that they've gotten it down, they've gone back to doing this year 2 top 10s lists, which is a cool show to always go to. You can see them film that live. They had a couple other shows. Wayne and I sat in on Eric Summers' what's the name of the thing he does?
Parsley, but I think that was, you're talking about Nick and you, right?
Oh, Nick. No, you weren't there. You didn't go. I'm sorry.
I was in the top
Nick
10 with you guys. Yeah.
And Chuck and some other people were in there, but yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. It was Parsley. He did a little thing, which is like the old Zork was the game I played back on the old Apple IIe.
Choose your own adventure type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a text base. So you would go north and it would give you a description. All right, here's where you're at. Go south, pick up thing or whatever. And so it was really kind of cool. Eric Summer ran that. So they had shows, they had that kind of stuff. A pretty large hot games area. They had just all kinds of things. So it is starting to come back to the old Dice Tower. And some people are all about those shows and they make time and go do that stuff. Some people could care less. Some people are there to play the games and you can get plenty of that. There was a huge space. We didn't fill, I don't think, the main space this year, but they added on. It was a bigger main ballroom. There you go. Zork and Planetfall. Zork was my big one, BJ. But yeah, this year it got bigger, it got better. There was more stuff to do. So I feel, yeah, it's always a 10 out of 10 for me.
Total 10 out of 10.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah, so the hot games area, there was more demo space this year. They had more contests. They had the hot games area, they had the loud room area, the quiet room area, big game area, which I liked, which was kind of in the area of the hot games, which allowed you to also set up big games. And I thought actually the main ballroom, which is interesting, that the main area for the gaming, I didn't actually go there until day 3 because I'd spent like the first 2 days in the hot game area. But on Friday and Saturday, like that definitely, like I remember last year and the year before, those last like 5 or 6 rows on the far end didn't fill up. But this year there were plenty of tables still available, but it was a little bit more full.
A little spread out
A
more.
little
maybe.
more spread out. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nice. I really, like 2 years ago they did the 2 comedy shows, the Magic and Comedy Show with Grant Lyon, or that was 2 years ago. And last year they had Pro ZD, and this year
Right.
they did the top 10. So I think that they are concentrating on doing 1 or 2 events, things, each time. So it was fun.
That's awesome. That sounds great. And it seems like you guys got to play a lot of games that haven't been released yet. Am I not mistaken with that? There's several new titles that haven't come out.
A handful. The hot games area had a few. They had 3 or 4 maybe just in the hot games area, but then they had a demo zone, which was in the same room as the hot games. And so it was 2 aisles of tables or 2 rows of tables that were hot games. And then they had 2 rows that were all unreleased. The designers were there teaching the games.
Yep.
So kind of like a prototype.
Or like All Play had a couple tables where they were doing demos of the stuff that hit Kickstarter this week, which was nice. Yeah.
So there was an opportunity to play a handful. There wasn't a lot of unreleased stuff, but there was definitely a handful.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about one of them for my 3rd game. So,
yep.
Okay, I'll wait for that in a little bit. Okay, that's awesome. And then there's a couple of videos that I watched on Dice Tower today. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Chris Yee came out with his favorite 2-player games, and he had breakdowns of casual ones, strategic ones. Like I think it was 3 different categories of games, all his favorite 2-player game. That one's really good. I don't know if you guys have seen that. And then the other one that I saw was V. Garcia came out, which this is near and dear to my heart. Marvel Champions, his top 10 favorite heroes.
Oh, I haven't seen either one of those yet.
Yeah, they just came out today. So
I pinned the casual 2-player games because I love 2-player games. So I pinned the casual one to my watch list.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay. So those were fun to watch today. And and then on another note, I did get a Kickstarter fulfillment arrived early, which is, as you know, far and few between when you get it early.
Nice.
But we got the Dice Throne Vanguard.
I saw you posted a picture.
Yeah, it is a standalone set that offers a cooperative mode. The first one in the Dice, the series, basically, Dice Throne series that offers cooperative and competitive play, all in one box.
Nice. And so you got to play into that already?
Yeah, we already defeated the dragon. They have a difficulty mode, which we have not done, where you make them even harder. We're going to do that again. The new characters are awesome. I played as a swordsman, and he has this cool dance that he's doing, where he's going, he's parrying, he's going forward, he's going back. So you have this whole track where you're moving it around constantly, and as you move it forward, you're adding damage. As you're moving it back, you're adding like drawing cards and then extra defense. But every turn during your upkeep phase, you have to move it 1 step forward or 1 step back. That guy is really fun. And then we have the miniatures for it with all the accessory packs, the sleeves, the custom sleeves that go with it. We got all that. It's really cool looking. And then my son played the dwarf who builds his own armor. He builds a shield, builds a helmet during the game, and then he can upgrade that helmet and that shield, make it more powerful. He can deflect damage with the helmet, and he can absorb damage with the shield. And we've got all the acrylic tokens for those. For backers, they even came out with these metal armor ones that, it's not really, it's not as cool to me as, they're really cool looking, but there's not as much color, but they're metallic, and that's kind of a collector's item thing they came out with. But it's an awesome set. The thing that disappoints me about it, though, is they're not coming out with this set for retail. It's like Kickstarter only. And I hope they at some point change that, or maybe what they'll decide to do, I have seen them do this in the past, is they'll come out with the individual characters as separate packs. Because right now, Dice Throne's going to a model where you can buy individual heroes individually, like whichever one you want, and you just buy one. You just buy one character, you buy 2 characters, but not these big sets. They're going where they're kind of breaking it down to smaller purchases, which I like, because that's more variety. If you just want to try out 2 characters, you can just buy 2 characters and pick which ones you want. So I'm hoping these Vanguard characters will be available eventually as individual sets, and I have a feeling they will. based off of some rumors and things I've seen. So I think you'll be able to get your hand on them, but just not in the set with the dragon boss and all the stuff that came out for the Kickstarter version. But it's a lot of fun.
So the Vanguard, this is it a bigger game, or is it still just the basic dice thrown game?
It's the basic dice thrown game, but it also offers on the box lid, there's a dragon boss. So it adds like the dice thrown missions kind of feel.
Okay.
But it's instead of going through the whole mission, you're just fighting the boss.
Okay, that's what threw me off, I guess. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
And which I think is really cool. And I'm hoping they do that in the future where they'll just come out with different bosses that you can fight. But the actual mechanics and things are adding, are different. Like I said, the swordsman, he's got this whole track you're moving up and down. And then my son, he's got these armor pieces that he's literally putting on his character as the game goes on, and he's upgrading them. I mean, they're adding some cool new things that really, in my opinion, enhance the gameplay and make it more immersive. Yeah,
when you were talking about the hammer and the shield and the helmet and stuff, I started thinking that this was okay, so you got to prepare this stuff as part of the game, and then you move into actually the fighting part of it. But I see what you're saying now. So it is all still part of just the same game. It's just part of your actions instead of attacking or defending or whatever. You're doing this other thing.
Yeah, like one of the things the dwarf can do is he goes through his deck and he mines for gold. He mines for resources that he can then turn into armor. And so every upkeep phase, he gets to draw 3 cards off the top, and anything that's these, gold or these different elements, he can draw. And then he has its own little place on the board where all those elements go. Cool. And then once he has enough elements, he can turn them in for armor. It's really cool.
That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay.
Well, let's say, Chris, at Dice Tower, side note, I got to play Spirits of the Wild, game that you talked about a while back.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my wife really liked it. So, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a very fun 2-player game, so that's on my list to pick up.
Well, you'd be glad to know, Wayne, I was able to snag a copy of that for like $10 or something, added onto the root. So the guy that sold me the root, he said, "Hey, I got some other stuff that I'm selling. If you want to throw something on there, it'll be the same shipping price." So I was able to pick up Spirits of the Wild. It was on my list to play, but I mean, for a few extra bucks to get it shipped to me,
take it $10. You might as well just buy it.
There'll be a copy here.
Good Lord. Really? Are you serious that you picked it up in the thing?
Crazy.
The guy said, "Look, add a game on. Shipping will be included." I'm like, yes, sir.
You could have had it for free in a week, Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
No, it was fun.
Thank you, Chris, for being the first caller. We got some comments we'll read, too, from some of the other folks talking about their Dice Tower experience. So stay in and keep listening.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Thanks for calling, Chris.
All right, so that was Chris, our first caller of the evening, making it a call-in show. He knows the assignment. We're going to wrap up the comments that came in from that call, and then we'll get back to Rob finishing up his play of Wondrous Creatures. BJ, Board Game Gumbo, says, back in 2017, the convention was closer to Tower 2, the middle of the hall walkway. Yes, I remember being farther to the right.
Yes.
But this time we're like way out where where they used to have like the dance competitions, the cheerleading competitions. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
They used to have all the techno music playing from over there, the electronic drum and bass.
Yep.
He says, but I did like the way they used to have the library right in the game room. I remember that. What do y'all think about the library being away from the main game room? I didn't like it because it wasn't always available. The part where it was in the main game room was open 24/7, with the library being separated from the main game room. I don't know if that made it harder for them to acquire volunteers to man it all night.
No, the Tom said he doesn't think it's fair to have people man the library all night, so he thinks it should be closed. And They actually did one of the years. The last year they had it in the main room, it did close still at 1 a.m.
Oh, still even closed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they like roped it off.
Yep. You couldn't get into it. Yeah.
But they still kind of had to have like people there like watching it. So they're like, well, let's just, if we put it in its own room, then we could just lock the doors and move away. And that makes sense. I think, give it a break because it is volunteer based. You know, when people have to volunteer from
2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Yeah.
It was nice that they allowed a table so you can hang on to the stuff even after the library closed.
Right, just drop it back.
And it was like a drop off section, so we didn't feel rushed. We felt rushed to grab the games at 1 a.m. because they closed, I think, at 1 a.m. So we were in there like 1 a.m. trying to grab some games to get played, but we didn't feel rushed to finish them that evening and get them turned back in. So that was nice.
And one of the cool things, just a side note on that, is Tom and being his personal collection there, extremely honor system. People do the right thing. I mean, people could take those games and you could go in there at 2:00 in the morning, go to that table where people return games, and you could clear out thousands of dollars worth of games if you wanted to. Not that I'm putting that idea in anybody's head. I mean, everybody has to know that that's a thing, but extremely awesome that people don't do stupid stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
they don't.
Yeah, Mitch's comment of you used to be able to grab a game without checking them out, which was nice. And then BJ says, so you're the reason why Tom writes the message in the box, which is this game was stolen from Dice Tower.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
I like
you
how they finally said I bought a game from their flea market a couple of years ago, and it has it in the bottom of the box, right? This game's stolen from the Dice Tower. What I noticed, I bought a game this year. I bought the Wolves from it. They have a sticker on, where it's like they put it over that written message, and the sticker now reads something like "This game bought from the Dice Tower" or something like that.
Oh, really?
Good. I was wondering what happens when you sell the game. Does it just
this
say
game
that
is
forever?
not stolen. No, this game is no longer stolen or something like that. Yeah, it was fun
is
that
it
they
funny?
did that. Yeah.
Mm.
I met a guy I was playing Deliverance with, and he bought a copy of a game on, it might have been Nemesis, online for a great price. And when he got it, it had the stolen from Dice Tower on it.
Mm.
And we were playing the Christian board game. He's a Christian guy. We had like that after dark Christian session while playing Deliverance. Like we're cutting jokes, but this time we're like doing puns of Christian songs and like Christian music artists. Like we had a great time, man. We nerded out Christian wise.
Wow.
But he told me that he's like, oh, I gotta ask. So he asked Tom about it. Come to find out, it was a game that was stolen, I think, from the cruise.
Oh, wow.
So he talked to Tom and said, hey, man, I'll send it back to you. I got no problems. I don't want to keep anything stolen. And Tom said, no, brother, you keep it. And so he, thank you for reaching out. So people do take games. That's not cool, but they do.
But if they find out who you are, you're done.
And that's where he asked Tom for info on who he bought it from. Or Tom asked him.
Tom asked him, yeah.
Yep. Mitch says, I remember he got really mad because someone had brought a game back to their room to play. I remember that year. They were, I think, calling over the microphone, trying to figure out who this person was that had the game and trying to get him to bring it back. Because they checked every room and there was nobody in the halls with that game.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure it still happens a little bit, but you really are not supposed to like leave the
Area
convention
there.
center with it. Yeah. So
on the Vanguard, does it have a solo mode? Was a question out there. So if anyone in the comment knows, ask. Please pop in. Dice Throne Vanguard is Aaron Clark says he played Dice Throne Vanguard. They're going to do a release of Single Heroes at retail. They also announced that the theme for the next set with a YouTube teaser video, the Nexus. So Dice Throne Nexus, October 2026. So got some Dice Throne fans in the chat.
Cool.
That takes us back to Rob, who was talking about his play of the worker placement game Wondrous Creatures. He just described how it played. Now we get to hear what he thought about it.
Yeah, essentially that was a recap there. Only the thing is you've got a little bit of asymmetric powers. You at the beginning you deal everybody 2, you keep 1. It's just a little tiny power that your main creature gets. They have a little rider that sits on them. It's actually magnetic, so it's really cool. It magnetizes on there, but you take the one that matches the picture that you decided to keep. But anyway, game was fun. It was again 3.
But what's cool about that power, Rob, you didn't mention it, is you have to unlock it. So you have to gain some objective points before you can unlock your asymmetric power.
Right, you have to claim your first objective. So there is a little bit of a race because some of the objectives, like the person who claims it at a lower total, like a total of fish symbols and butterfly symbols, may be one of the things. And if you get to 4 of those, or 5, I think it is, you can claim it at the lower point value. And then the next person, if somebody else wants to claim it, they have to get 8. But then it's a higher point value. So it's funny at the beginning because you have to just unlock one of those or claim one of those to unlock your power. So everybody's kind of going forward 4, just a quick, easy one that they can claim real quick, even though it may not be as many points, it will unlock your player ability. And so, and again, the player abilities are fairly minor. I found they're definitely not game changing, game breaking in any way. So they're not like, oh, you have that power. They're just little things that allow you to place in a certain area or maybe pick up an extra thing. But they're nice little asynchronous. No, not asynchronous. Asymmetric. There you go. Things that you pick up. So we really had a good time. Again, a 3.0 as far as the weight, I think they said on this. I think this is a lighter than a 3.0. I think it's probably dead in the middle, maybe about a 2.5, which again, not a big difference than 3.0. But this is almost, to me, borders on a family weight game. It's a little heavy maybe for younger kids. It's definitely heavy for younger kids. 1 to 4 players, 40 to 80 minutes. I find that's probably right once you know the game. 60 to 80 minutes, I would say probably in a 3 or 4 player game. Both times I played it were 4 players. But I liked this one quite a bit. I think this was definitely, this is probably in the weight category, I would say, of like a Wingspan or something like that. Maybe just.
I think you're drinking. I was gonna let you keep going, but you're continuing to go deeper.
Really?
I think you're drinking. If you think this is a lightweight family level game in the verse of Wingspan, I don't see it.
How do you think it's heavier? What's
all right, so number one, the worker placement aspect. You've got these hexes that are combined. You're going to cover 2 hexes,
right.
So you got to decide how you're going to place your workers, and then that also kind of blocks off where other people can go. So there's the aspect of that. The creatures themselves. Heavier, I don't think. So each creature, it's not maybe not the rules that are heavy, but the creatures and how they work and what they do, they're all different. So you got a stack, a giant deck of cards style game that adds complexity. Number 3, the asymmetry of each of the individual leaders themselves. And then
I'd like to counter you on all those points. I don't think any of those make it more complex than a Wingspan, but yeah.
I don't know. I felt a little lost while playing my first game, and it wasn't towards the end of the game that I was starting to connect the dots.
I think it's all the tags and the
tags is the most complicated thing I think of the whole thing. But
maybe that's probably what pushes it to like closer to the 3 than a 2.5.
Yeah, I would never say 2.5. I would say low 3s is right where it lands.
Because Wingspan is a 2.48.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is necessarily a 3, but it's more like a 2.75. I mean,
I'd say a little more than
definitely.
Wingspan. Yeah, I was using that just as a comparison.
Yeah.
I think a little more than Wingspan, but I don't know. Okay. Yeah, like I say, the tags are the tags. That's probably the most complicated thing to me. The player powers, again, were very minor powers. They allowed you to do something like mine. One game was just allowed me to place in the mountain regions without paying a resource. I mean, that's very simple. None of them were complex. None of them really.
Death by 1,000 cuts, brother. Like you just keep adding on and adding on and adding on all these little complexities, interactions, and it kind of makes that game creep. I think it's the scale of weight creep for gamers who continue to be in the hobby. Maybe. They start to believe that brass is a family weight game.
Oh no!
But no, I think about it like so. Yeah, and Mitchell kind of agrees with Rob, and so I'm kind of just splitting hairs here. I think for people like Rob, Mitchell, me, it's probably light. We would think it's a lighter game, but to a person who's only played Azul and Catan or Ticket to Ride and those games, they play a game like this, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, this is a step up," right? So I think the whole weight thing is kind of subjective, right? It's how you would weight a game. Yeah. So Rob says 2.5. It's a 2.5 for Rob, but for me, it's probably maybe more like a 2.75. So I think but they're all close, right? It's definitely weightier than Wingspan, small degrees, but it's hard to because it's subjective because it's based on your experience, right? We've played thousands of games or 1,000 games, let's say. Someone who's never played it, that's going to be a lot different.
Yeah, I'll have to see maybe when I introduce it to somebody. My kids too. I mean, they're both gamers, but neither one of them are big time gamers. They haven't played a lot of games, and they both immediately, this was easy, picked right up on it.
Oh, I could totally see between your 2 kids that play, loving it. I could see that. Yeah. Well, before we pull out that comment, Mitch, don't encourage Wayne.
Oh,
don't. Make him pick a side. Make him pick a side and make him make fun of one of us.
Yeah.
Like pick a side and like poke fun at us.
We want controversy.
Yeah. BJ says, I agree with Carlos. Combine the goals, cards, workers, asymmetric factions, resources, spatial elements, and timing. That was the piece I couldn't think about. Like getting it all to time right. Wingspan, lay eggs, score points.
Well, that's a thing.
That's Wondrous Creatures.
That's Wondrous Creature for me.
I'm glad you got it played.
Yeah, it's good.
comment by Cody here. Cody asks, I really wish some of the big board game companies, instead of doing grand prize giveaways of 4 big expensive games, they should just give a hotel room for 2 or 4 and con passes for the week. That would be nice. That
The
would
thing
be
there is they give away a game, a $300 game, but it only really costs them like $50.
$5.
Whereas paying for the hotel room is, $1,200 for.
Tell him he's wrong. Tell him he's wrong, Wayne. Tell him why he's wrong. I love it.
I just did.
Let the hate flow through
You
you.
did it in a nice way. You can do it nicely.
Nicely.
Let's
Anyway, back
see.
to. Oh, go ahead.
Is it Max
Next,
Carlos
next
for
on the
your game?
list, I think that was Wonders Creatures for Rob.
Yep.
Wayne, you're at your
Oh,
number 3, which is
Okay.
or is it me?
Wingspan-
It's me.
It's you.
It's
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yep.
Ace. Okay, back to Devere. Wayne gave some compliments of Devere and their setup that they had there,
Especially
and the games
since I've
have
been
been
so
producing.
critical of White Castle.
Give the Devere some love. Yeah.
I thought they had a good setup. I went over there and enjoyed a demo of Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades part 2, part 1.5, like the reprint. The total recall.
We're talking degrees here. 1.25.
1.25. Because they only pulled out one card.
They only had to pull out the 2 or 3 cards that were,
there you go.
objectionable.
So I got a demo of that with Ramey and ended up buying it. They had a stack on the first night of Ace of Spades. By the second night, that stack was down to a small pile. And by the next day, I think they only had a few on the shelves that next morning. But so I picked up my copy when it was kind of dwindling down. Ace of Spades is a solitaire game. Don't let anybody trick you. They tried to show it to us as a 2-player game, but really it's just a solitaire game. And it's colloquially known as Balatro, right? The style of, here he goes, my boy, BJ or Mitch in the chat, Balatro. You're going to play a hand of poker, and you're going to use the result of that hand to fight off demons from hell. That's pretty much, okay, so as a Christian, I struggle with some of the like hell-themed games. I don't think this one went far enough to make it an issue for me, especially because you're playing the protagonist, the good guy. You're in there trying to destroy the demons from hell. So you're using, imagine the magic is driven by a poker hand. The cards go flying out, X-Men Gambit style.
Kind of like Deadlands, where you're using
Or Deadlands to damage the bad guy. You're going to have 12 levels you need to get through, starting with easy creatures like a coyote, right? It has 5 life, easy to kill. And as you kill a monster, you gain a benefit for destroying it. It comes to your side, and now you have either a one-time instant ability or a permanent ability that changes how the game plays. And that's where it starts to get really fun with the comboiness, because it sounds repetitive. I just play a poker hand, pick the best I can do out of it, and fight with it, right? No. You have to decide how do you want to use your resources. The resources are the ability to mulligan your hand. So you literally draw out, discard, and draw back a certain number of cards. Or you can take all the discards and reset the whole deck. You can't do both, right? So you're going to pick one. So you can draw all day, but eventually your deck's going to dwindle down and you cannot draw any more cards until that deck is refreshed. You have a decent hand, but you might be able to get a better hand. But instead of spending the resource on mulligan, I'm going to use it to refresh the whole deck because I know my half of the deck that I've already played, cards that I played and discarded, are good cards. Like maybe I had a lot of face cards, so I want to get them back into the deck. So those are some of the decisions that you're making. And then you're making poker hands that do a various number of damages to the opponent. If you don't kill it in that hand, then you do another hand, a new hand against it. So you draw back up to your 8 cards, and you make another 5-hand of poker out of your 8 cards. But you only have like 2 or 3 hands to play per opponent. So you only get 2 tries to make it happen, or else you die and lose the game. And just kind of rinse and repeat, working your way up to the big baddie, the Helldiver.
Balatro the card game.
Balatro the card game.
Yeah.
I think what I enjoyed about it is it's simple, it's poker, but there's 5 or 6 different characters for each of the 12 levels that you're playing. And you're going to shuffle each level and draw one. So every game will provide you different characters at each level, and each character has a different ability. So you're going to see these different special abilities like discard this card to play all spades as clubs. So what looked like a bad hand before now becomes a flush because I can discard that ability to turn these spades into clubs. Now I have enough cards to pull a flush, and then depending on what cards are in the hand, you get bonus damage. So any face cards give you +1 bonus damage. Any aces that are in the hand are going to give you +3 damage. So you're trying to not overkill something. You want to just discard just enough cards in the poker hand to do just enough damage to kill the guy. Really liking it. Ace of spades.
I haven't played this yet. I need to play. I haven't never played Balatro either, so I've heard a lot about them. But I need to try it out.
Yep, take it home with you. Borrow it.
BJ,
I've played 7 times in this last, 4 days since I came back Monday night, I think it was.
Okay.
Sunday night.
This is a good one for you, Carlos, because it's solo, right? So like BJ saying, why play this when you play Off With Their Heads, which is a great game that we played also. And then, Mitchell following up, dude, I played like 10 new games at Dice Tower East that all had poker mechanics. The gang. And then, go ahead. Phone call.
So, but do you think that the poker, well, I guess he's on the phone right now, Mitch from Red Bean. Mitch, do you think that poker hands are going to be the new trick taker wave?
There's a million of them.
It seems like it. If Dice Tower East Hot Games area is any indication of it, it was every other game. It was crazy. I felt like I was in a fever dream.
Yeah.
It's a thing right now.
Flip Town, Off With Their Head, Ace of Spades, Gang. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. There was 2 or 3 others that were poker-based. There was a lot of poker-based games.
Yeah, and I guess, that might be a way to kind of pull more people in to the hobby if they're poker players. But for me, as someone who's not a big poker player, whenever I see that, initially it's kind of a turnoff. But luckily, with those ones that Wayne just mentioned, it's not such a huge part of the game that I'm having to think about poker the whole time. Whereas it's just like little pieces of it. So it was admissible for me.
All right. Well, your second caller for the evening. The show is yours for the next 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes because we like you.
Let's talk Dice Tower.
Wow. I'm flattered. So I get 12 seconds per game instead of 6. Like Mitch is saying.
Are you doing math on the number of games you played?
You hit 100. You had to have hit well over 100.
So no, I hit 98, and I want to mention this first. So I put that number in our Discord, our local Acadiana, Louisiana Discord, and one of our buddies, Logan, was like, why does that number matter to you? And so I started thinking about it. And what my favorite part about going to conventions is interacting with people, right? And teaching new games or them teaching me games or learning a game together. So collectively seeing that spark of something new, right? And so I can only think of maybe 4 or 5 games out of those 98 that there wasn't a new person learning at the table. And so getting to see it click in someone's head whenever they finally saw how cool the new game was, or then getting to show me a really cool mechanic in their game, that's what makes the con memorable for me. And that's why I think that number is important for me. Now, of course, that's slightly inflated because, I played a bunch of all-play games and those are 15 minutes long, but still, I wanted to beat my 96 games played record for Origins, and I beat it by 2 games. Rob helped me do that on Sunday. We played 2 games.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you guys for being great hosts. I know you guys aren't Orlando people, but still, I feel like I'm coming into your home turf when I come to DTE. And there were fun games that were played, but just all the experiences with y'all were what made it memorable. Like playing Fate of the Fellowship at 1 a.m. with it was Rob, Wayne, Emmy, and Nick, and all the dwarves get killed. And so we're like, okay, we need new dwarf babies. And then Arwen goes to the Lonely Mountain with Gimli, and we're like, where are these new dwarf babies coming from? I wonder. It's like that. And feeling like I was drunk at 3 a.m. playing broom service with Wayne and Rob's family because I was so tired.
You were delirious, my man.
You were out there.
or literally falling asleep while Wayne and Carlos were debating property taxes in Tampa.
I wonder what was going on over there.
Yeah, arguing the definition of wedding.
Sore subject. Listen, I don't want to get that New York wrath thrown this way, but we've heard that.
The poll actually turned out exactly how I thought. There was like 13 votes, and like 4 or 5 people said it could be, both, and most of the people said it could be one, and that's it. That game is hard because you can only answer yes, no, or I don't know, and it's like, well, I mean, I would probably say no, but I could see it. Some people saying it's kind of this, it wasn't a very good game.
That game sucks.
I disagree. I enjoyed that game.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game because I was playing with you two idiots. But in general, I don't know if like there's too cut and dry. Like so. Anyway.
Insider was a game, by the way, if anybody's asking. Insider, Oink
Insider,
Games.
Yeah.
A little 15-minute Oink game has spawned conversation for a week straight now. So that's got to say something.
Yeah, I guess.
Depends on which side of it you're on. Anyway.
But I think it was good. It's cool. I love the we had Doug and BJ and the Louisiana crew and you have the Tampa gamers. It was good to just see us all gaming together. It's the first time I got to play with BJ. Met him in person for the first time, which is like it's kind of interesting that like for years we've conversed online or by the phone or on Discord, and to finally be able to get and just play games together is awesome, right? It seemed like we knew each other for forever. Like right away, so it was cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I feel like BJ and Doug. Those are the two people I game with more often than anyone else. And then we're my wife is scoffing as if she plays board games with me. I don't know why.
That's what wives do.
Yeah. So two worlds colliding for a week is really really interesting for me because there was almost never a time when there wasn't a table open because, I was trying to game with you guys as much as I could, and then maybe you guys were in something and the table was full, so I hit up my Acadiana crew and back and forth. And then whenever I was playing with all y'all at the same time, it was like weird, like I said, a fever dream. So it was great times.
Yeah, and the big party game day, that was great. Having everyone in that room together.
Yeah.
It had to be 25 people.
Yeah, because at one point we had 3 tables going of games, which was cool. So, Mitchell, what would you say is your game of the con?
98 games. Which one was the top?
Games.
It's hard to say. I think I'll lump a few together. I prefer more medium-heavy games, but I was really impressed with a lot of the all-play games I played that aren't released yet. I went to the all-play first look, and I think I played 5 of their unreleased games, and all of them were bangers. That Kickstarter that just released this week, the Imps, Wild Berries, and Kabuto Sumo Dice were all so much fun. And then I played 2 of them that I already funded, which were Things on Strings and Some Assembly Required. I'm just always so impressed with Allplay. It's something that came up a lot when we were talking about at the convention. Allplay has all these small box games. Most of them are pretty good. Every now and then you get a clunker, but they're just so professional. As Cadelia, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's such a good teacher. She's the PR person. Always has the clothes that match the games and stuff. They just do such a good job with their demos and their presentation and everything. I think just Allplay in general had to be the game highlights for me.
Some assembly required. That's that IKEA the board game.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. and so it was taught to me by an Allplay person as this is a game about assembling IKEA flat pack furniture. And then everybody at the table was like, really? Like, well, no, not really. We can't say that. I think the rule book says something like non-specific brand furniture or something like that. But they have like the Swedish or whatever words that are made up for each of the different things. It was pretty interesting.
They pushed it as far as they could, couldn't they?
Yeah. And then I love things in rings, things on strings. I think is an improvement on it. It makes it cooperative. It makes it a little bit more achievable. The Imps game is a Mancala style game, which, man, I remember when my kids were little, that was one of the first, other than like Candyland games that we taught them. So having a gamer's version of Mancala is pretty cool. And then I like Kabuto Sumo now adding in where you're trying to basically throw the dice at your little workers and knock them out of the ring was a lot of fun. The Wild Berries game, it's so colorful. You're trying to get these different sugary cereals to make the best cereal bowl. Just like all really, really unique in terms of both theme and mechanics, all those games.
Carlos is trying to keep up with you here on the.
I'm losing.
I just want to say, like, for me, I love Allplay because of the standard box sizes. They have the small, the medium, the large, and oh my God, it's like really could every publisher please just follow that model, and like it would make all of our lives so much easier. Like I love Allplay. Like Kids Table Board Games is similar too. They have their bigger box and they have their smaller box, but good God, please, can we start standardizing box sizes in some respects? I love the Allplay booth is just so cleanly laid out too, because it's got like they have these when you pluck a game off, the next one pops right in its place. They're great.
It feels like a snack machine, right?
Yeah.
Of games.
Yeah,
Like you
that's a good way to say it.
push the button, the game.
There's
pops
always the
out.
thing, like you pull the game out, and then it's like, well, oh crap, the next one already popped in. I'm gonna push him back. It's like, wow.
But the best part is you go to the to pay for it, and there's a carousel right there with all the upgrade components for all the different games. So as you're buying the game, you just spin the carousel, find your game, and for another $15, add in the metal coins or something.
Merchandising. Anyway,
yeah, good stuff.
any other highlights you want to point out there, Mitch?
I guess I could mention Ross. I think a lot of us played Ross together.
Yep.
Mahir's game that finally came out. I think we'd all talked about, we'd seen him at past conventions with the prototype. Getting able to see the finished copy was pretty cool. I played that a couple of different times. I don't know if I played the more advanced variant with y'all. I think I played the basic one. The advanced variant makes it even more gamier, and it's definitely one I could see myself picking up. I almost pulled the trigger on the Kickstarter, but that was around the time all that tariff craziness was going on, and I was like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Yeah.
And actually, William from our game group won a copy of it. Not won a copy, but he bought a mystery box. So that they were doing mystery boxes, Carlos. And out of the first day, there were 50 boxes. Only one had a copy of Ross in it. It was like one of the copies that they had air shipped in, and William pulled it.
Yeah, William was telling me about that. He just bought a mystery box and knows a copy of Mahir's game. I told him, "Did you get it signed?" He goes, "No." I said, "Go get it signed, brother."
Oh, Mahir would have signed it. Yeah, he was always popping in, making sure we had the mechanics down. Super nice guy.
Yeah, I got to hug him.
Yep. Sweet.
But I'll go back to lurking in the chat. I was kind of waiting to let you guys give your opinion of the convention before I called in. I didn't want to sully the waters, but I'll be there listening. And thanks again. Hope to see you guys.
I don't like this new version of you. I like the version that was like the first call within a minute of opening the phone line.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Sullying waters all over the place, just like ski, sullying water everywhere.
Yeah, and Mitchell, we are going to talk about ants here in a minute, so you might want to hang in there.
Oh, Wayne's so excited. I will be trolling Wayne from the chat.
Okay, that's fair.
Not every game hits for everybody.
Nope.
Right.
That one did not hit.
It was great to see you, Mitchell. As always,
Yes.
hopefully I'll get a chance to come out to Sobo again, hopefully next year. So once y'all get all the plans for that nailed down, let us know.
Yeah, we'll see each other soon.
All right, brother. Good chat.
All right, later.
Night.
Bye.
Our buddy Mitch from Louisiana, our Red Bean, representing. Good times were had. French toast was a highlight for me at the All Play booth.
I didn't get that one hit.
I did
I
not.
also said it. Ross was definitely a hit for me too. Love the dice decisions. Yeah, it was good.
Ross is
enjoyed
good.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We did Wondrous Creatures. I did my game, Ace of Spades. That brings us to Wayne's last game of the con.
Last highlight game, yeah.
Highlight.
Is what BJ's saying on that. He's calling it a night. Good night, BJ. Thanks for joining us and all the comments. He wants the good memories to meet up with me because BJ likes ants. I just listened to catch him on my podcast, and he was talking about how great it is. And sorry, BJ.
Yeah, you can miss that.
Yeah. So my last game that I'm going to talk about is actually not released yet. It was kind of a surprise to see it here, and I'm going to talk about Wingspan Pocket. Initially, when I heard about the game and saw that it was like kind of a simplified version of Wingspan, I'm like, I probably don't need it. It's not going to be that big a deal. But then the first day, Mitchell and I got together, and we sat down, 2 players, and we finished this game in 10 minutes. It was crazy how fast we got it done. And then I think on day 2 or 3, we did a 5-player game, and it was Doug, BJ, myself, my wife, and my kid. And so 3 or 4 people had never played it before. And the 5-player game, we were done in under 30 minutes. So we got a call coming in. I'll jump back to that. Yeah.
Beansanddice podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
It's Joey from Colorado.
Joey.
Hey, Joey.
It sounds like you survived your 4th of July road trip.
Bro, that was actually I actually wrote down like 6 topics, and that wasn't one of them. But we drove from. I'll send you guys some pictures. we drove through the fires in the Utah mountains.
Oh,
That was pretty gnarly. So it, as soon as we got into Utah, you see those, mesas off in the edge, and then there's a big smoke cloud. Well, we just keep driving towards it, because you're going, 70 all the way until 70 ends. There's only one road through there, and the fires were on there. It was, as you're driving through, you're on the side of a mountain. The fire was on the other side of the mountain, and it had burned. Anyways, so yes, we did survive. We had to reroute coming back though to avoid the fires. So, but the road back was pretty good. But yeah, eventually smoke was coming into the car. So,
that bad? Wow.
Yeah, that was wild. At first, it was just for like the first hour and a half, it was just like visible. It looked like you were driving through it, but as I was, hold on, let me switch my earpiece.
Getting you back. Okay, yeah, we lost you for a second there.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Then as we got to a certain point, the smoke just got so built up that it got thicker and thicker, and then we finally broke through. But yeah, that was scary. So glad everything else was on a. Oh, and then we get there and my alternator went out.
No.
Which, if you didn't know, if you drive a battery too long without an alternator, you also ruin the battery. That's just a public service announcement for anybody that doesn't know. Get to a shop as soon as possible. We were like 20 miles away from our destination, and that was enough to do it. So,
oh boy.
Anyways, but thank you. Yeah. You guys made it all back safe, I see, and sounds like everything was great.
Great fireworks. Orlando sucked. It rained like every day. It's been a drought for months now.
It's Florida.
And it wanted to start raining like the week we were out there. But these guys didn't care. They were inside playing board games the whole time.
I heard it. I heard the fireworks going off.
Yeah, I think someone had mentioned recently too about how that event is one that definitely you could bring, your family to. If they're not in the games, there's plenty for them to do there.
100%.
So there's hope for me. But I will try. I am going to try my best to make it to Dice Tower West next year.
Nice.
So
I gotta get out there myself.
Mike Lorenzo's stomping ground.
I remember you guys said you maybe aren't there particularly, but you might have some representation or something out there.
Yeah, Mike Lorenzo, One Mike, One Game. He's usually there, and I think Dan, his co-host, and also a co-host of this show before, Dan Erdzik, owner of Your Turn Cafe. He's usually there with Mike, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think Nick went not this year, but
Nick went last year.
Yes,
he's planning to go back. I'm going to plan to go in the next couple of years. So yeah,
Nick Oben, not Nick the Netherlands Nick.
Oh no, yeah. So what was on the list here? You said you had 4 things written down?
6. I haven't even touched them yet, and you reminded me of another thing. Which also, side note, I've watched One Mike, One Game a couple times. I didn't know he had a co-host, so that's interesting.
Not recently.
Yeah, he's not on every show. Yeah, Dan was on the first couple. Okay. He's in and out. Yeah.
Okay, right on. All right, here we go. I taught Cascadia to my nieces, and my daughter played with us too. They had an unopened copy, so I found out before we went that they had the copy. Yes, I didn't have to bring it because that's kind of my go-to right now. And played that, and that was awesome. So I had, my 9-year-old, and then the 2 nieces are in between, 12. I think the other one's 10 and 14, something like that. They're like 4 years apart, but so yeah, got to play Cascadia with them. I taught euchre to them.
Oh.
We were talking about card games, and they wanted to play. I was like, well, we can play euchre. It's a 4-player game. They wanted to play it every day, and so we did.
10?
And that was great. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they wanted to play it. I remember when I learned it, I was born in 82, and it was the year that Pulp Fiction came out. So however old that makes me at that time, that's when I learned it. But yeah, they wanted to put. My daughter just asked me today. Tomorrow they got their daycare, or all day daycare for the summer, right? And they're having tomorrow is a card game day, and she was like, but they call it casino day or whatever. And she was like, "Is euchre a casino game?" So she wants to play euchre at school with her friends. So I'm just very happy about that right now.
Nice, good deal.
Good.
I bought Rebel Princess, took it, didn't play it. So, but we are about to go on another road trip back to St. Louis, and so I will take that back there with me.
Nice.
Here at my Colorado gaming group, I played one of my favorite games, the one which I've added a little house rule to, and I think I'm going to possibly pull back on it a little bit, but it's Waterdeep.
I'm glad you're going to pull back on that house rule. It's a little sketch, bro. It's a little sketch on the house rule.
No, don't start that. Don't start that. No, the reason why I'm pulling back on it a little bit is because actually I learned the game wrong and didn't realize a major rule, which is after anybody's gone to the Waterdeep Harbor, you get to go again.
Yeah.
I did not know that rule. I never played that way. Yeah. It's pretty much, let's see, 9 times, how many rounds? 8? Is there 8 rounds in that game?
8 or 10.
I don't have my copy in front of me.
Yeah, 8 or 10. But every time I've ever played that game, all 3 of those spots are filled. Those are like the first 3 plays.
Yeah, so 3 times 8, that's 24 extra turns.
Oh, yeah.
It is at the end of the round.
Yeah, so you get the last pickings, but yep.
But, I mean, that's double tapping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Getting something and then double tapping.
Yeah, you go there, you get a card, right?
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Or get to play a card.
No, you can play a card.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play a card to go there, too, so you can't go there if you have no intrigue cards. But regardless, yes, I never, for some reason, I didn't know that. And, that's the downfall of maybe trying to learn solo or whatever. But it was a reinforcement of when you play something on an app, it teaches you sometimes the right way because I didn't know that rule, right? So we get to the end of the first round, and the guy that I was playing with, it was his birthday. Happy birthday, Alan.
Happy birthday, Alan.
He taught the game because we actually had a huge turnout, which was one of my other things, which huge was like 16, 17, 18 people.
Nice.
Normally there's 4 to 7.
Nice turnout.
So I was super happy I was glad for that. So I was trying to keep myself open. Maybe I'll play a game over here. And then Alan's going through my bag. He's like, "Oh, let's play Waterdeep." I was like, "Great. Maybe I will." And then so I did. But as I was hemming and hawing on it, he taught it, right? So he's teaching it and I'm sort of staying out of it. Well, then we get to the point where I must have faded out when he was either teaching that or maybe didn't touch on that. But either way, we get to the end of the round and he's like, "All right, so now we do the Waterdeep." And I was like, "Hey, wait. What happens now?" and at first I was like, "Oh, he's either playing the game wrong." And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, "No, he plays this game on the app all the time. He must know." And I must have been playing it wrong this whole time. And all of that is true. And that game achieved a new level for me because I already liked it. And I was like, "Ooh, you can double up on turns?
Yeah.
Okay. You can do with the timing stuff. If you have an intrigue card that'll let you pull a person back, you can go somewhere else, play an intrigue card, pull that first person back, then play." Oh man, you could. So anyways, all that being said, I didn't realize how quick back to back you can fulfill some of those contracts. And with that, even though I said with the roll of the dice, house rule that I had sort of put on there, even though you will generally always pass that die check, I didn't realize how fast you can close out contracts in that game, and you don't want to miss one.
Right.
So for that reason, I basically have recanted on that. And I don't want to say you were right, Carlos, but I'll say I was wrong.
There you go.
I'm gonna do the whole Principal Skinner thing. Maybe I'm out of touch. No, it's the kids.
No, it's the children.
The children are out of touch.
So anyways, all right, got the big turnout. Well, one thing is, am I allowed to bring up the thing I brought up to you in our chat, Carlos?
All day, every day.
Oh man. So because I didn't see if you answered my last question, which was, have you had chronic pain since then, like daily, all day?
Yeah. So,
or either way, even part of the day,
he's been
it never goes
encouraging
away.
me to plank, and so we've been talking about how to relieve back pain because he's been dealing with it too. What was funny is I was hanging out with some of my friends at Dice Tower, which is part I really love about Dice Tower is meeting up with all your old friends. And then the kids come up and they started making fun of us because we were just talking about all the different pains we have. So like me and Zeno just like sharing. He's like, yeah, but my foot's been bothering me. And I'm like, oh, but my back. And his son comes up and goes, you guys are so old. And then walks away.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Joey, we made it. We made it to age. But I'm working on scheduling surgery to fix it. So they say they can fix it, which is going to be good. So end of July, if God willing, if all works out,
absolutely,
I'll be able to do a surgery where they can remove a piece of the spinal cord and allow the nerve to flow freely. It has impacted
Will they remove
my
part
gaming.
of the spinal cord or part of the disc?
Listen, biology is not my first language. It's something in the back. Rob's a BI adjuster. He knows injuries
for insurance. So yeah, they're taking out it's a discectomy. So they're taking out a piece of the disc to free up some room.
Oh, okay. So not I heard something else.
Yeah.
Slip a dick.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, they can't take out part of your cord. But anyway, dude, I am so.
That would be bad.
I am so happy for you.
I'm looking forward to it because it has impacted my joy
before and after.
I can't sit and play long games without pain. I stopped painting miniatures because I can't sit without pain.
I literally have been at the chiropractor. Now, I have not been back since, but when I did go twice, because they tried to adjust me while I was in a herniation, and they didn't know. I didn't know it. I was stupid, and they were stupid. Fine. But I had mentioned to them, I'm like, well, what do I do about my board game? This is like 8 years ago. I'm like, what do I? Said, well, you got to get up and stretch maybe during the game or whatever. So that can help. But man, I'm so glad you're going to get some relief. Mine, I will, if it hurts, and I actually am coming off a little episode, but I didn't have to take off work for it. So that's still progress, still a bunch of big progress. So I encourage you
to keep
with it.
There was time where I had to take off work.
You. Oh, dude, when mine's fully gone, I cannot get out of bed hardly. I won't say it's to come downstairs and make a sandwich is a half-hour process. It's excruciating. It is something that I don't wish on anybody. So, anyways,
good news
I
on the forefront, and I appreciate it. I appreciate your encouragement.
Yes, absolutely. Well, this is going to bring me to my last little bit. 2 little bits. How do you guys feel about proxy in Magic? If you play Magic.
Okay, so proxy in gaming in general, I have no problem with it. You know, you can drop a shoebox on the board and tell me it's a Land Raider tank in Warhammer, and I won't care. I'm here for the person across the table to enjoy a good game.
I think any proxying is fine as long as it's not in like a tournament.
Yes, I agree with you on the tournament scene, because if I'm going to shell out the money to make a good army for the tournament, I would want the opponents on the other side to be at my level.
And the one caveat there is, like, when I was playing, and this is a long time ago, when I was playing Magic.
Oh, Magic.
HeroClix Magic, right? So Magic, I had a guy, he showed the card. It's like, here, I have the card, but I don't want to actually play with it. I'm just going to use it. So, like, that's fine. Like,
I can respect that.
I can respect that, right?
Yeah.
But that's cool. But like, if you don't have the card, then no proxy in a tournament. But if we're just playing for fun, yeah, hell yeah, bring all those Black Lotuses out.
Yeah, I don't play Magic anymore. I kicked the habit. But I don't know if I care in tournament versus anything else. I was more friendly stuff. What if you don't have access to something because it's either not for sale or at way too high a price? How do you feel about proxying something then?
Still it's part
Not
of the
an
game.
issue. I also think not an issue, and I'm not even talking about Magic right now, but I will say there's a game coming out that basically takes a deck of cards, and I proxied it. And I have no shame in that because I want to play the game and it's not available. So I'm not saying anybody else has to do that.
Yeah. So we've talked about that in the past. It's been some years since we've talked about that subject, but yeah, Carlos, I don't know if you remember, years ago, 3-4 years ago, we talked about the ethical side of if you don't own a game and it is available, but it's basically, let's talk about poker games. It's basically just a deck of cards and a set of rules, a rule set. Do you feel comfortable playing that game on a long-term basis by just marking up some cards and downloading some rules? Or at some point, do you feel that if you've gotten enough play out of it, that you should, give back, that you should buy the game and
support the designer / publisher?
I totally am for supporting. What if they don't sell it?
Sure.
Right. That's the tough part.
That's definitely a different question.
Especially with the FOMO now of the crowdsourcing or what do they call it? Crowdfunding market.
Yeah.
There's going to be promo cards, promo things that nobody's going to be able to get access to. Example, the solo cards for Mosaic, Story Civilization. I did not kickstart the game, so I did not get access to the solo cards. But somebody posted all the images of it, and I printed them out. I have them in a sleeve deck so that I can use them. I did that with Foundations of Rome before I was able to track down a copy of the solo cards. I have no problems printing them, putting them in sleeves, and playing with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Empires of the North did the same thing. There was like a solo campaign or a solo mode that I think came out as it was like a two scenario thing, or maybe just two different scenarios, maybe not campaign, but they also had it for print, or someone had it showing, and I printed it out. I mean, if I'm not going to be there at the con to buy it, I think it only does a disservice if I don't try to play it, therefore getting the word out about the game. But anyways, go ahead. I cut you off.
No, that's fine. I think the vast majority of promo cards are generally useless, right? They're not like, most of them are just
agreed,
right? So, but I think it's also on the designers, like or publishers. Like you guys talked about several instances of solo cards. I think those are in demand enough, but I also get that they want to keep the exclusivity of it, right? You did the Kickstarters, you get the fancy cards, but then just make it available, like, pay us $2 and here's the PDF of it, and you can go print it, right? So then you're printing out and making your own. Like I think
especially when it's just a rule set.
Yeah, I think game companies should do that. And like Lost Runes Varnak did that. They had the venture thing that they put on their website basically for free, right? So either give it away for free as a PDF or charge $2 for it. And most people will just give you the $2 for the PDF and not just use someone else's PDF. But you're keeping the exclusivity of the cool cards and the printed cards, but you're giving everybody access to the thing, because that is a rule change to the game. It is a way to play the game differently. Most promo cards don't do that, so I don't care, right? If I'm not there to get it, but like for those, that'd be kind of cool if they did that. And it's a way to generate revenue.
And with some promo stuff too, like you'll get some FOMO on it, but then once you look at some promo stuff, you'll be like, oh man, this is a way powerful card. I almost don't want it in there because it's almost too powerful for one person out of 3 or 4 to get it. And then the other people, can't combat that. But
that's a whole other topic with the whole, what do they call that? The goals. What do they call that? The goals? The
stretch goals?
Stretch goals, where they start adding just random stuff that may not even be balanced to the game and can totally break the balance. Like that's...
I used to try to track down promos.
More topics from this.
Yeah. I used to try to track down promos all the time for all my games, but now I'm like, nah, I don't care about those. And if it comes with it, great.
Like
I don't care.
I'll tell you one that I picked up that I like, and I know I'm getting to the end of my time, and I still didn't get to one of my points. One of the promos that I picked up that I really like is if you've ever played Snow Tales. There's a map tile that I think is like a jump over a crevasse, or like an opening in the ice, and so that's something that everybody gets to play with because it's part of the map. That type of stuff, great. But yeah, a single card that goes in, a deck of 160 cards, and it plays up to 5 people. One person might get something, more than that. Anyways, back to the other thing that I was saying. You guys are talking about, you should kick back some money to the publisher. Totally agreed, all of that. And what I said is still true. If they don't sell it, you can't. The only thing you can do is just send them some money and be like, hey,
right.
But secondary market is the exact same thing. So, if you take I'm not saying you guys are, but if you extrapolate that out, you can sort of say, well, secondary market shouldn't be allowed too if you don't want a proxy. And secondary market is there's a lot of new games that get sold, but come on, there's pages and pages of games that get sold on the secondary market everywhere board gaming and everywhere everything is. Heck, Goodwill, Arc, Salvation Army, all that. So my point is, I definitely will give the money if it's available, but if not, I'm not gonna, blame someone for all that. And money's different to different people, but at a certain point, you're like, $400 for Glory to Rome. Now, I don't even know the game. I don't like it, but I know that that's an expensive one, and I think it's just cards.
It's a great example of
it's a game
out
that'll
of
never be
print.
printed again and never be printed again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, but I will say this last thing that I'll finish up on. I got an awesome, I won't say promo, but one of a time thing. So when we were on our trip out west, my brother-in-law showed me, he was like, hey, I got to take you to this store. I think it'll be right up your alley. It was a board game store. They had a ton of stuff. But they had a promo for 4th of July, which was the only thing in my house really that will be emblazoned with the 250 mark on it. But they were giving away free dice on that day. And I had to beg and plead for them to give me one more. I tried to buy some more because I wanted to send you guys one, but I only talked them out of 3. And I'm keeping one. I gave one to my brother who turned me on to the place. I wouldn't have even, gotten it if it wasn't for him. And the other one I gave to the wife of the guy in my game group who's, in the military and on leave, right? Or,
Deployed.
Active duty right now.
Nice.
Yeah, deployed. Sorry.
Awesome. Yeah, it's all good.
That's awesome.
Civilian showing. So I only had 3, but if I had a 4th, you guys would have got it. And it's a 6-sided die with one of their. I'll put the. I'll also put that picture out there. Yeah, because I really wanted to give some to the guys in my game group, the people in my game group, and then I wanted to give one to you guys. So, but yeah, I thought it was just so funny that okay, America's 250th, everything, such history and all that, and the only thing that I have to show for it is this one little die from a board game store, and it's just special to me. So
I can't wait for it to fail you.
Nice. Well, dice always fail.
Well, luckily, I don't have any game that I can. I'm going to just use it as like a countdown die, right?
It'll be a proxy for a card for some game.
Anyways, well, thank you. That was my con out west, and I'll let you know about my con at the Midwest that we're going to next week. So here's some more euchre with my daughter and more dad stuff.
Joey,
Awesome.
Much appreciated, brother.
Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. All right, you guys take it easy, okay?
Good night.
Take it easy.
All right, bye-bye.
Nice.
Our friend Joey from Colorado got some good content there. He had a list of things getting back from his gaming, so he had a lot on his mind. That was great to hear. I'm glad he made it back safely. Wayne, we were on the last game of our highlights.
Let's get that one done.
So if you want to start that back up again.
And we'll
Wingspan,
get it so it could be a little clip here, right? So
exactly.
Yep. So with surprise, Wingspan Pocket was available for play, which is not out yet. It actually comes next week. You can order it. So first retail copies will hit in the next couple of weeks. First, Stonemaier Champions in the next 2 weeks. So in Wingspan Pocket, it's a 1 to 5 player game. It's a relatively small box of and it's basically cards, eggs, and a couple of tokens. In the game, you're only going to be doing one row of birds. And so you have a starting card that gives you one of 3 options: draw 2 cards, play a bird, or lay eggs. When you do that, you then take your little feather token and move to any played birds you have to the right of that. So you're basically just running the same engine of birds as you play. The game ends when one player has laid their 6th bird. You score points based upon tucked cards, eggs on cards, the standard Wingspan, and then the victory points. The cool thing about this is the cards are double-sided. So one side will have the bird, the other side will have a resource. Yep. You start the game with it varying depending on the number of players, but 4 or 5 resources and 2 bird cards. And then there's a tableau in front of you of 4 food and 4 birds that you can draw from. There are end game scoring, which is slightly different. The end game scoring is if the bird or the criteria is met, you score 1 point per egg on birds that fulfill the end game scoring. So it's a deck of cards, some eggs, pretty straightforward, but it's fast. I had talked the first day, Mitchell and I played it. The 2 of us learned it and played it in 10 minutes. And now Mitchell and I played fast. Yeah, so it was boom, done. Then we played the 3rd day. It was Mitch, my wife, who's played Wingspan, but not this. My kid, who's not played any of these, BJ and Doug. So the 5-player game with 3 or 4 of us learning it for the first time, including my 12-year-old son who'd never played it before. We got it taught and learned and played in 30 minutes or less for a 5-player game. So I said, this is kind of good. I like it. It's really quick. It's a filler type game now. The idea that you're constantly firing that row of birds. So, and what's cool is like the very first turn, if you take the lay bird action, you're going to immediately fire that bird's action because you start on your starting card, you play that bird, and then you would move your feather to it and immediately do that action. And the actions are, tuck cards or draw a card or draw, if you have this, then draw a food. There's ongoing effects. There's things that make things cheaper. So there's a lot of cool things. And I like the idea too is the lay bird action is you can lay 3 eggs and they can't be on the same card. So you have to lay eggs on different cards. And when you draw cards, you can either draw food or draw animals. Very cool. It is definitely Wingspan light. It is Wingspan in under 30 minutes for a 5-player game. And it's relatively portable, right? I think the box size is probably like a little bit bigger than Mountain Goat's size box.
Okay.
So that size thickness and maybe a little bit longer. So it's definitely something you can throw in a backpack and take traveling with you. It's not really a pocket like pocket pants, but a pocket of your backpack, type thing. My guess is this is going to be in that $20 to $30 range, especially with Champion discount or first release. And so I wasn't really going to buy it until I played it. But now come Tuesday, I will be buying a copy of Wingspan Pocket to have. My wife liked it. My kid liked it. So it's definitely a game I can travel with and play. And I think Daryl wants me to get a copy. So a couple of us will be getting copies of this to have. But it was enjoyable. I love the fact that 5-player game with mostly teaching, we got it done in 25 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. So
being able to use that beautiful art, those bird cards.
Yeah.
What about the card size? So
standard Wingspan card size, the standard deck of cards. And what I like too is there's a lot more of the dual food cards in the deck on the back side. So that really getting the food you need was not very hard. A lot of the birds do have eggs as a cost, so you kind of have to balance laying eggs, getting food, and playing the 2. And the powers were pretty cool and pretty self-explanatory. They're slightly different. I don't think these cards can be used in regular Wingspan because they're so different as far as the brown powers on the bottom and how they interact with each other. But definitely fast, quick playing game. Rob, I don't know. Did you get a chance to play this?
I did. Yeah, me and my daughter Emmy played it, and we liked it. Very light, very quick. I don't know that I need to own a copy. It's there's other pocket games that I probably like that a little better than this one. I'm a fan of Wingspan. I like Wingspan quite a bit with some of the expansions and things. But it was good. I enjoyed it. We played it one time. We learned it quick. You taught it to us, I think. And yeah, we learned it quick. There's some different iconography. So like you say, I don't think you could mix these in because there's different icons that you use. So we had to learn those icons, but they're all on a little player aid, as Stonemeyer always does.
Super
great.
simple.
So, yeah. So it's simple. And yeah, it plays. And I think we played it in 15, 20 minutes at the most. And I think we got done. And we came back over to your table and you're like, y'all already done? So yeah, it's quick. Yeah.
No, it's gonna be right up my alley. The pocketability of being able to take it, play it anywhere. It because I can condense down the box into a bag and just put the baggie in a backpack.
So what I'm hearing is you want me to
yes, sir. Put me on the list.
Yeah, well, on the list. But yeah, on the board.
Give me a half dozen, please.
Yeah, well, at least.
Board games in the background is asking from playing Wingspan Pocket. Would you anticipate Wormspan Pocket and Finspan Pocket?
Ooh.
Probably not. Depends on how well it sells. Now,
Probably not, but yeah.
Probably not Wingspan. Probably not Wormspan, but maybe Finspan.
Yeah.
Yep. So
could be. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I think Wormspan Pocket might be the same weight as Wingspan, says Mitchell.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
it's all gonna blur.
Yeah, it didn't feel shoehorned in. It didn't feel like. Yeah, shoehorn is a good term. It didn't like. I was worried that it would just feel like, oh, it's just Wingspan, but it kind of is its own game.
Yeah.
And it's that quick engine building. It's 6 cards, and it's firing. It's basically trying to figure out how you can lay the birds to trigger them as much as possible in those 6 plays, 6 or 7 rounds, to get as many tucked cards or bird cards or eggs on cards, those kind of things. So it's kind of a very.
I like that
fast
double-sided card aspect.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of vegetable.
Veggie stock or veggie guard. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Point salad.
Point salad. There you go.
Yeah.
That kind of
exactly.
it allows the cards to do more work when you do it that way with the double-sided cards.
Yeah. And I do have to point out, birds are hatched, not laid. But
that's true. Yeah,
anyway,
and that's
it's funny.
Yeah. So Wingspan Pocket was kind of a surprise. It was kind of cool that they had it there, not released. So I think that kind of helps build the buzz on it. So I know that Tom mentioned in the Dice Tower news today that they had gotten a copy like a week before the con.
I thought he said just a day or two before.
A day or two, and that they're gonna review it next week. But hey, the master of marketing. Somewhere. So I'm and tangentially to that is I'm probably gonna be buying Tokaido Duo.
Really?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
I played it with my wife, and she was like, "Dad, this is pretty cool. I like it." Like, it took us a moment to grasp it, like the initial, and then once we got it, like, "Oh, all right, cool, got it, rocking on." So I'm probably gonna pick up a copy of Tokaido.
I forgot to check back with you on that. So I mean, is it much different than Tokaido? Because I'm
not
crazy about that move down the line.
Yes, it's definitely different. So you have a board, and the board is a specific. It's probably the Namiji Island, but the island of the deer, wherever that is. And you have a track around the outside, and then you have a couple spots in the middle, and then you have some spaces in between, and you have 3 different characters. And so you have like a merchant that you want to get to the center to collect the merchandise and then bring them back to the outside to sell. You have a painter that you want to move to the open areas and either make paintings or deliver paintings. And then you have the third one. I'm trying to remember. The third one is like you have to land on either the monastery place to move up the monastery track or the woods to move up the wood track. And so you have 3 different characters. The game ends when you finish one of the 3 characters. So that's the first, the painter. Then you have the merchant, and then the third one, I forget the name of it, but it's over.
They keep repeating. They keep showing them.
Same thing. And so you have to balance
the pilgrim. There it is.
Pilgrim. And so each one has a different way of scoring and end game scoring. So you have to it's a race to whichever one of those gets done first that ends the game. But it's definitely, there is some ratcheting around, but it's not like Tokaido. It's definitely different than Tokaido.
Looks like it.
Yeah, there's a little bit more push-pull. And so I went for the merchant and my wife went for the artist. And then there's, It was good. It was an enjoyable 2-player experience to the point where I'm going to pick up a copy of it because I think it played well enough.
My wife and I enjoyed our play of Tokaido at 2-player, but it did feel flat because it was too simple, too easy, not
Just
enough
move to
competition.
the next
Then you would
Yeah.
enjoy Tokaido Duo then. And
That's
Mitchell
what it's
agrees.
for,
Tokaido
2
Duo
players.
is better than the original game. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
And so I will be.
Caleb says it too. He
Yep.
enjoyed the OG Tokaido and not.
He hasn't tried Duo yet.
Well, hasn't tried Duo.
Has not tried Duo.
Yeah. So I will have I'm going to order Wingspan Pocket and Tokaido Duo so you guys can try it out. And if you like it next time around, I can always add it to my order.
Sweet.
So, or
Well,
watch a
we
review, Carlos,
definitely
let
have
me
a
know.
lot more of the con to talk about in future episodes. We focused in our conversation, which I'm glad we did. We focused it in the top 3, well, not top, 3 games that we wanted to highlight from our plays there, and that got us all the way past the 11 o'clock hour.
I didn't get to my third, but we'll wait till next time.
Wait, we didn't get to Rob's third? No way.
I was going to bring up ants, but ants is going to be a long discussion, so we'll do that next time.
Wow, it's already that late.
Yeah, that's fine. No, we're late.
That's how we do.
We need to wrap up. Yep.
Folks,
No,
we will be
Mitch.
back next week for more. I was promised ants.
You gotta
I'm
come back
fine
next
with
week.
getting to ants, Rob.
Wow. We can do it briefly. We don't need to go into a whole lot of depth. But ants. Okay, ants, real quick. Ants, and I want to wait. Somebody's got to pull this up on the BGG. I don't.
I'm
you
working
guys
on
have
it.
Access
I
yet
got you,
because
bro.
I want to see what the weight is. If they put this anywhere near a 3.0, it won't be. But this was a complicated game. There was a lot going on, as typical. I took a while to catch on as to kind of seeing the connections and seeing how things happen. This is a game, in my opinion, 3.7. Okay, so it's almost a 4. Okay, gotcha.
So that's
I would
accurate?
agree. I would agree. It's a heavy game. It's this game sorely needs some kind of player aid. There is absolutely no kind of player aid in this. There is almost no iconography. So you have to remember lots of little things. And I'll agree with Wayne on this. Wayne and I had very different opinions. I think Mitchell was, we know BJ said he already liked it. I believe Mitchell likes this quite a bit.
BJ loves this game. He was raving about it on the podcast that he did with Mitchell. Yeah.
I liked it more as as we got about 2/3 of the way through the game, and it started to click with me how you do things and how like on this main board here, just connecting things and where you can go, where you have access to. There's absolutely no player aid that explains this. So the only opportunity I got was Mitch's very good but very fast teach of the game.
See, Mitchell's saying there is a player aid. Too bad he didn't give it to us.
Oh, wow.
That's how you win.
Okay.
You hang
Well,
on to
there
the
you
player
go.
aid and
I
let no one else
in the middle
use
of the
it.
game that this game needs a player aid badly, and I still
Multiple.
didn't get a player aid. So
Yeah.
anyway, Mitchell. All
But
right,
it also needs, like you brought up several good points, is there needed to be better iconography on the boards to remind you of all the little minutia details that you're supposed to do between turns.
I'm an iconography guy, and that's what when Mitchell, we really went into this when I played Luthier the next day when he taught me that, and I was picking up things on Luthier quickly, and I told Mitchell, I was like about halfway through his teach, I was like, yep, I got it, and I stopped him and I said, I can see this on the board. There's an icon that tells us right here, you do this, you get that, you do that. This game does not have that. Hopefully it's on the player aid. I'm sorry that I besmirched. I was led to believe that there was no player aid for this thing, but it sorely needs one. It needs something to tell you how to take your turn, what things not to forget. I liked the game. I will like it much better, I'm sure, my second play. I don't want to speak too much for Wayne, but I could see that it didn't click for Wayne right away, and he got a little frustrated that it wasn't kind of clicking on, okay, remember to do this, remember to take that. And we, I say we, mostly Mitchell, at different points during the game had to say, Wayne, don't forget, you can trade in those cubes to alter that or to do a different kind of action. And Wayne was like, oh, okay, well, shit, I wish I would have known that, or whatever. I wish, that was a little more obvious. That I wish that showed me that somewhere on the board.
And I think the biggest one is there's a point in your turn, Carlos, when you're making a play, and it's like anytime you make a play, you're supposed to draw a card, right? There's nothing that reminds you to do that. And like 3/4 of the way through the game, I'm looking over and Rob's got a stack of cards like that thick. And my stack's like this thick. And I'm like, oh, well, I must have forgot to put drew card like, 3/4 of the time during the game. I just didn't draw a card. Right. So there was a lot of, and then playing out in the main board, there's 2 different types of actions when you're laying out the ants. There's like
scouting,
the scouting for resources and then the attacking. and the way in which you play for each of them is different, and there's really nothing clear to delineate it, and it was very, it just didn't click with me, and I was lost for a while. And every time I would go to play, okay, well, I want to attack. No, you can't do that because you didn't play here 5 turns ago, and now you're surrounded, so you can't break out. You can get cut off very easily from being able to progress in that side of the board. And sort of it definitely was extremely frustrating for me there at some point, because like I thought I had it down, but then I go to play and be like, nope, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to do anything. So I'm just going to go over here and do something else. It was definitely frustrating because of the lack of, it seemed like it didn't click with me. It clearly clicks with other people. It just didn't hit with me.
Yeah, it's going to take me another play to kind of start seeing those bridges. Like I say, it took me a good 2/3 of the game to start being like, okay, that's how I get over there.
But what are we doing here? I see a lot of ants.
Yeah, you're digging. You're kind of, I guess, thematically, you're kind of digging tunnels through there. But those little spots on the main board where you can kind of chain together. And again, there's some rules about you need to be adjacent to this to jump over and to do things on the other side. And some things have to be in lines. Some things have to be across. But you're discovering areas. So as you're kind of tunneling out as ants, you're discovering and placing these enemies, like things that ants kill and eat. Grasshoppers, whatever they are, little tokens on the board. So one of your actions you can do is just it reminds me of Covenant in some ways. In Covenant, that's the underground mining dwarfs, almost Lord of the Rings, but they don't have the title or the license. But you're kind of doing the same thing. Somebody has to go in and discover the area. You get some rewards for discovering an area. Once it's discovered, you put a bad guy there, which is exactly the same as Covenant. The next person can come in and potentially fight that bad guy, or on a future turn you can fight that bad guy. You have to do some strength to do that. You get rewards for fighting the bad guy. There is a lot of matching symbols to complete objectives, be able to play cards out into your area. So if you have the matching symbols, you can play the cards. So there's some tableau building. You actually do build up a fairly decent amount.
It's like terraforming Mars, even like, so it's, you have all these crazy actions to do on the board, but you're also building out a million cards as well, and you have to look into tags and track your tags, and there's a lot there to track.
It is a lot. There was a lot in the game, and I agree. The iconography on the board, there's, as you can see, just if people who are watching at home or whatever, or watching online, you can see these boards.
This is your individual board.
Yeah, there's no iconography on there really at all.
There's that bottom is like when you do a reset your turn, and that, like, what's funny is that bottom part is clear, like how you reset your turn. Yeah, but it just felt like there was a lot of other aspects of the game that weren't clear on how to do it. And what's interesting is compare and contrast Orloge. Where you have this Orloge, with the massive board with tons of colors. But to me, I followed that game so much easier because there was big icons like, here's, do this to do that. Where this it seemed like there was some key points in the game or on the board that was just missing something that would trigger your brain.
And maybe they were trying to keep it cleaner on the board. I don't know, maybe because of the little ant things.
I don't think I call this board clean at all. Like, I feel like my eyes are going everywhere.
There's a lot to do.
There's a lot to look at.
Yeah, what was it, 3.75 or something on the weight there? I mean, It is a heavier game. It is not a lightweight. It's a good, solid, heavier weight Euro. So that tends to be up my alley. And again, I said this a million times this episode, but it is true. I am slow on the uptake. I admit that. I tell people when they're teaching me one of these heavier games, hey, I'm going to ask you something about 4 times, and then it's going to click with me. Bear with me, because once I get it down, as Wayne has said before, once I've played it a couple times, I start seeing those connections, and I start, this is how I get the points, and I get good at it. And that's why I fall in love with some of these games. But this one is a big teach. It's going to take me 2 or 3 plays before I feel comfortable and can really see the paths probably here to scoring the points. But I like that. I like figuring out these tougher games. But man, I wish I had that player aid.
There's something here, because it's got 138 reviews and only 3 of them are 1s. Usually I'll see a lot of hate for these heavier games.
Yeah, no, but it's and the thing is, I don't hate the game. I was definitely extremely frustrated by the game because it just wasn't clicking. And that's usually, I mean, you guys play with me enough. Like, you play these kind of games, I'm very usually quick to identify a strategy or identify something to do in the game. And I just couldn't do it in this one. So, I mean, I wouldn't give it a 5 or 6. It's definitely a good game. And actually, we ended up scoring. I don't forget the end game scoring, but it wasn't like I was like I scored 2 points, everyone else scored 200.
Yeah.
I was able to towards the end to get something going, but I think what was frustrating me is just not being able to grasp or catch on to the way in which the ants played on the board, and then clearly. And even I think several. I think Rob and your kid, we all forgot to draw cards multiple.
Oh yeah, several times.
Multiple times.
Yeah, I'd be halfway through my next turn, and be like, "Hold on, I didn't draw one last time. I'm going to draw two."
It kind of reminds me of like the example that I give is in Tyrants of the Underdark, right? When you have when you control an area and you have that one extra resource buy.
Yep.
How many times do you forget to actually use that one extra resource buy, right?
All the time.
Every time, even though it's sitting right in front of you. So like this game has some of that where it's like there's little things you have to remember, and if you keep forgetting it, it's going to hamstring you.
Yeah, agreed. So I liked it. Didn't completely fall in love with it my first play, but again, it's because I felt lost for a good chunk of it. At the very end, I started seeing it, and I was like, Wayne mentioned you can kind of get cut off from certain things. And by the time I realized, oh crap, I should have been doing that, I was cut off of a couple things that I wanted to do. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to chalk it up to a learning game. And
or Mitch says, have you considered getting good?
No, shots fired. But anyway.
Yeah, get gooder, Rob. Get gooder.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a good game. I got to play it again, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's not an actively bad game. I definitely got frustrated, and so it's not necessarily the game's fault that my frustration level was just
Yeah, it happens. Yep, no worries. But that's my last one. So, all right, Carlos, you can take us out.
I don't know about ants. Like I just don't. I'm coming from the guy who hasn't played it.
Yeah.
I don't see anything here that drives me to it. I don't know. It's the theme. I don't know if it's the artwork.
It's a heavy one. You just got to enjoy heavy not trick takers, heavy Euros that have paths. The thing about this one is finding the paths that are going to score me points, and that's my intrigue with it. It's like, oh, I need to figure this thing out. So yeah.
To reiterate, the player aid was in your hand, says Mitch.
Yeah. I never remember seeing it because I said out loud about halfway through this game. Yeah. This game needs a player aid
multiple times.
He shook it at Mitch.
I swore Mitchell said. Mitchell said that there wasn't one, but anyway.
Yeah, I think it speaks to like I said, between Toledum. Probably the three heaviest games we played: Toledum, this, and Orleo or late, whatever the clock one.
Orleo, yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's getting late. This one was the hardest to follow. Like the other ones were, the iconography was pretty clear. You could look at the board and see it. This one was definitely the hardest to follow, and that's not necessarily that it's a harder game. It's just the game design and the game layout just didn't rock it. So, but yeah, it's good.
That's unfortunate. I knew you guys were excited to get it played.
No, I think this is more of a Rob game than me game. Definitely.
One of the ones I wrote down to play. Yeah, I got played. Yeah.
Had they themed it into Mediterranean training and added the 50 Shades of Beige, and then threw an ugly white guy on the cover.
Yeah. Apparently, this is very similar to Rats of Wistar, which I've only played on BGA. So
Well, I was going to touch on that, but I would open another thing. I don't think it's very similar at all. It's the same. It's considered the predecessor or the follow up to that game. They mentioned that I think there's going to be 3 games in this quote unquote series, and they're all going to have different play mechanics. The mechanics of this one are very different. The art's similar, and there's maybe 1 or 2 little things. The other ones, Wistar is on a rondelle for taking actions, and it's very, very different mechanically. But anyway, but the iconography and stuff and the cards is all the same.
For the one OGG insert for the evening, the other geeky goodness, have y'all seen, Ask Captain Gamer, have y'all seen the new Spider-Man movie trailer? And are you planning to watch it in movie theaters?
Yes,
I did see it while watching the Toy Story 5 movie. We took the family to see Toy Story 5 a couple weeks ago, and we got to see it in theater, the trailer for it. My oldest boy is super stoked and excited. So I think this is definitely one that we will watch in theaters, me and the older boys.
We went to see Supergirl and we saw the trailer for it.
They were already running out of tickets for the Spider-Man movie, like at least like the IMAX. But then he was talking about some new type of screen, extended screen.
Oh yeah, we saw
what
that
is this?
With the Supergirl. So it was like the
Black
walls.
Magic.
It was like it was almost like 3-dimensional. It really wasn't.
He said like the screens go sideways up the side, so it kind of like extends the whole movie in big mode.
It was not. anything spectacular. It was entertaining, but it was nothing different than like IMAX.
Mitch is proving the player aid. He is sending text photo evidence.
I just saw what you sent, and we did have that in our hand. That I would not consider that a player aid. So I mean, I guess it is an aid, but it was not what was needed for this game. It didn't tell me really how to do the actions, and it was very poor iconography on there. So yeah, this needs a real player aid, like a card, a full-size card that explains do this things on these steps, and this is how these things flow together.
Yeah, I agree.
Captain Gamer says they'll be introducing the X-Men to the MCU in this movie. I'm more of an X-Men fan than I am a Marvel fan, so that actually makes me.
I need to actually watch X-Men 90. Was it 97, 95, whatever it is?
I watched the first episode, never finished it.
I never finished, and it's like another season just came out. So
I kind of like this darker Peter Parker in the trailer here, like he, kind of a little dark angle to him, and then the Punisher. What's his name from Shane from the Punisher, Walking Dead. The guy that plays from The Walking Dead, who's playing the Punisher in this one, the Spider-Man movie. So
I don't know. I haven't seen the trailer yet, though.
Looks good. All right, that gets us to the end of another long episode, 2.5 hours of nonsense.
Next week we have our board update for June.
Update board,
and then we continue talking Dice Tower East.
Dice Tower East, experiences and contests and top 10s and that kind of stuff.
Let's do it.
I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Wayne.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And if you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down button twice.
Twice.
Good night, everybody.